Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world. A group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
What a crowd.
What a crowd.
What a crowd. What a crowd. It is quite a crowd today. There in the chat, we've got quite a few of you out there already hanging out with us. We're so glad that you're here today. Before we get started, I do want to remind everybody that if you're out there and you are packaging books up like we are here at the here in the Arrow world, then you need to make sure you're using code NERD10. Save 10% off your Gemini order. We don't get anything for telling you that, but you get something. You get something for that. You get a 10% off your order, which is amazing. Really good. Anyway, man, it's been a good week so far. Yeah. So we made it over Hump Day.
Mm-hmm.
Made it over Hump Day. Hump Day. Yeah. So how you guys doing? You all right?
Crazy. Going crazy.
Yeah.
I was doing great, but now I'm confused. What's Hump Day?
Hump Day.
Hump
That's what we
Day.
call Wednesday.
Well, that's what we call
Wednesday.
Wednesday here in the States.
Oh,
It's
okay.
the middle of the week. It's the big hump. Yeah.
You gotta
Oh,
get,
there's
you gotta get past
nothing-
that to look forward to the weekend officially.
So there's nothing erogenous about that.
I mean,
Nothing erogenous about
Okay.
that.
Wrong
It's
hump.
completely-
Yeah.
Cool.
Wrong hump.
every day should be a hump day, but Wednesday's the middle of
yeah.
the week.
Okay.
It's
Gotcha.
the middle of the week. We're over the hump.
Yo.
And
Going
we're,
downhill.
we're in the gutter already. Sorry, guys.
That's all on you.
Yeah, it's all on me.
That is
I'll
definitely-
take it.
That's what she said.
That's right.
Well,
I got-
while we're down here, I'm really happy to see that Merkmaid is at 69% funded.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Congrats. And it's not even a week yet. That's
What a story, Mark.
My daughter, now what most people never notice, will never see, when she's making up the packages, any backer number that ends in a 69, she writes nice next to it.
Nice.
So Number 69, 169, 269. Nice.
Nice.
And the label goes right over that, and they're never going to notice. They're not going to be able to laugh at that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But she knows when I'm going through making the labels. When I see it, I'm going to laugh. Yeah. She's a true performer, an audience of one. She still spares no effort at all to make it happen.
I'm getting to finally appreciate though as a creator when people share tweets of your book and you realize like your book is at someone else's house and they're going to appreciate and someone else is going to appreciate it.
Doesn't it?
That's an awesome
It's
feeling, man.
incredible.
It's the only way that I can describe it is when another adult tells you how awesome your kids are.
That's it, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Yeah.
Yep.
Like we've had we had this lady just go on about how awesome Corey was and how awesome Gavin was. And it felt really good. And I'm like, this kind of feels like when people have my comic book. Because people were getting my comic books way before they were telling me my kids were awesome. It took a while to get the kids awesome. I joke. It didn't take that long. I don't know how we did it. Honestly, I don't know how we managed that. But
Pay attention to them and raise them right.
yeah, obviously the combination of whatever we did worked.
I'm not a father, but out of empiric observation, it's just like it's not really what you do. It's just don't mess it up. You know what I mean? Allow them to be themselves and apply corrections when they're screwing up, and that's about it.
Yeah, well, Chris Rock says it right.
Yeah.
He goes, there's not a lot of metrics for being a good father as long as your daughter doesn't end up on the pole.
Yeah.
I think as long as your daughter doesn't end up a stripper, you're doing all right.
Only fans.
Only fans, yeah. That's
There's a lot of what they learn that they just learn by watching you that you're not actually teaching.
Yeah,
them
exactly.
specifically.
They see your attitude, like if you're bribing a cop, if you're cutting in line, like little stuff like that.
Your kids are going to reflect who you
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
right. So apparently everything added up works
If you
out.
take everything I've accomplished in my entire life and condense it down into one day, it looks decent.
I feel like
That's
George
all.
Costanza some days.
Yeah, that's all we aim for, to look decent.
To look decent.
Yes.
Speaking of looking decent, yesterday I got my hair cut because I was going to be on. I was looking a little homeless,
Okay.
and so I got a little.
That's
trim.
my job.
I
That's
got
my
fixed
job,
up, right? And not because I was going to be on a stream last night, but just because my wife's birthday is this weekend, right?
Ooh.
And so I wanted to look good for her birthday.
There you
But
go.
it just coincided that right after that I was able to, put a fresh haircut on. I went on with John Malin yesterday and talked about Fund My Comic.
Very
It
cool.
went pretty well. Yeah, that went pretty well.
Awesome.
And he's like many people playing it safe, trying to see what's going to happen. He's like, well, with in a year, and he's like, and then afterwards, he's like, well, maybe by the end of the year, and I'm like, well, hopefully we can entice these people to come over a little sooner. I think it'd be great to launch a Malin book over there. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And we're going to talk about. There's some stuff in the news today. We're going to talk about that has caused things to come to our doorstep already.
Oh,
Like already
yeah.
within like a couple days. So we'll talk about that. It's pretty good stuff. Randy, man, what you been up to this week?
Going crazy. Like I said, just got some commercial work done over the weekend, wore myself down to nothing, and Monday collected. So
Some
thank you.
moolah.
That's
Gotta
in
collect
the,
that money,
that's in
man.
the bank. Tonight, the wife's getting ready to leave for the weekend, so I'm going to be here in the basement working all weekend on my bucket list. I've got a story I have to adapt for Mr. Russ Leach that I'm in the middle of. I'm having a ball with, just a lot of fun.
Nice.
It's going to be a great
is he-
book.
Is he on art?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
He asked me to do it.
A Randy and Black Belt comic book, man.
Yep.
I can't
Yeah,
wait.
dude.
He wanted to do
Awesome.
it, and we've been kind of talking about it. It's a pet project of Russ's that he's squeezing in between his commercial jobs. So I want to make sure I'm ahead of that, and that he's got enough script to keep going with. But we're faithfully adapting a Robert E. Howard short story
Ooh.
that's recognized as the very first sword and sorcery story, at least printed here in America.
Oh,
Oh,
dude.
wow.
I love this esoteric yet obscure yet exciting announcement.
Oh, it's
This is
fun.
really cool.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's just enough to make the hair on your arm
I've
stand.
seen-
Ooh,
Yeah.
I actually got goose pimples.
He's got character drawings
I'm
done
impressed.
already, and he's got
Oh.
the first chapter laid out. It's got 4 chapters. It's probably going to be a graphic novel at this point.
Very
This
cool.
is the stuff I love.
I'm
Man, I
about
love comic
22
books.
pages in, and I'm not even through the second. Not just about halfway through the second chapter, but it's
I
a
freaking
blast
love
doing it. I'm
comics.
telling you.
That's awesome, man.
Because there have been other adaptations of this story that I don't think approach the material accurately, and
That's
because they
unfortunate.
try to convert it or put their own stamp on it or whatever. But this story is amazing. It's one of Howard's earliest works, and it's just beautiful. It's well done. If you haven't read a lot of Robert E. Howard, just about everything's available in an audiobook off of YouTube. Just YouTube search Robert E. Howard, and all sorts of stuff will pop up.
Hey,
Just
Randy.
sit there and listen to how great this
Yeah.
guy was a writer. Just amazing stuff.
Randy, I think you
Yeah.
just put your finger on one of the main problems of modern adaptations, and it's that people who are writing the adaptation think they're bigger than the source material.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean, like I want to
Yeah.
put my stamp, I want to put my spin on it because I'm so cool, and they end up destroying everything.
Yeah,
Well,
respect
Russ-
it.
Russ is like, throw an action scene in there. Throw an action. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, the story is great
Yeah,
the way
dude.
that it is. I'll try, but man, I
Yeah.
hate to add anything or change anything around because believe me, it's. I always grew up under the understanding that this pulp stories and writings and stuff were just schlocky second class material, but it's really, really great literature, and I just love the guy's writing to no end.
I love that
amazing,
people are
man.
starting to respect
Mhm.
those things where they had not gotten the respect before.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like all the hard work that people have been putting in to make sequential storytelling and all these pulp writing and stuff a respectable genre, I think it's starting to pay off. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
And this is it's about as macho as the story can get. And the main character is incredibly human. He's questioning himself. He's always asking if he's good enough, that kind of thing. And it's just a great, great story.
Yeah. Craig, you had a big week, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
He's like,
take
I
one
guess
of
I
the things
did.
happened with Soul Tax. Yeah, we're into fulfillment now with Soul Tax. Soul Tax arriving in backers' hands, and I'm constantly getting pinged across Canada, across the United States. I'm waiting for it to go international. People receiving their books, and everyone's happy. Lots of praise, and trying to get back
Awesome.
out there again to keep working on the next installment, Soul Tax. So
Yeah,
we're like
we're
3
watching,
pages in now on the interior pages.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was watching all the posts this week of people getting their packages and sharing them. That they'd gotten Soul Tag in.
Oh, that's an awesome feeling.
Morning.
Man.
Good
Morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Craig, I noticed that. So the thing is, you had a lot of passion for this project, and it shows in the quality. It shows in the quality of it. There are so many people that like this is a lifelong dream of mine, and they half-ass it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it's a lifelong dream, then why are you half-assing the thing?
Maybe it was a shitty dream.
Maybe I don't know.
Or a nightmare.
Shitty execution of a.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give it all you got, and clearly you did that. And when people are seeing these books in hand, they're seeing how good they are. I mean, that's why we went to one of the best printers and binders in New York City to get your book done. You spare no effort when you're producing someone's dream into physical form. I mean, awesome, man. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of praise actually for the cover, where it's just the right texture. People love the binding the way it is, and like they're like, however you did this right. So I've heard that several times now.
I wouldn't lead you straight, my friend.
You gotta go John Hammond on all this. Like, I spare no expense. Go all out.
Eric Hodson also had a big week this week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our fish can swim.
That fish sure can swim. I'm telling you what. That thing is she's a swimmer. My gosh.
Yeah, who'd have thought an adult rendition of the Little Mermaid from Hans Christian Andersen would be like a juggernaut?
Yeah, dude.
Well,
Congratulations on the launch, man.
Well, I can tell you a couple people that did. They're both on this panel. Randy was like, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, we're very excited to be launching the Arrow 3G imprint. And the book is a lot of fun. And my gosh, I'm teamed up with one of my favorite colorists, Federico. I first saw his work with American Bliss, which is now fulfilling.
Yes.
And it's we were talking a little bit earlier. It's exciting seeing people, showing their books off that they're getting in the mail because people are starting to get American Bliss now. But yeah, Federico and my lines, they go great together. And
really
this, the Merkmaid project is just, it looks beautiful and it's fun. And
yeah. Eric, I'm glad you're finally under that Arrow banner, man. You belong there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got plans with Dinosaur Man that'll involve Arrow in the future, but it's just, it's not.
We've been through hell together, man.
I can't get him to start paying any of my bills, so I got to take on other work. And then Merkmaid
I'm in the same.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. Yep. Yeah, I'm doing all kinds of extra work.
I mean, I don't know when August. I was really hoping to have version 2 of the action figure done by then, so maybe there'll be a crunch time this summer.
Maybe. Pedro, Whiskey, guys, how's your week going?
Oh, dude, the thing is, I'm doing so much that I can't show. Cause, dude, I'm just working on things that are coming up directly to FMC. So
nice.
And dude, it's gonna be 80 pages of nonstop mecha and kaiju action. We're on page 20 of colors right now. I want to have the book ready at 60% before we launch. And dude, I'm doing an awesome trailer. If you like Galaxy Rangers and that kind of intro, I'm striving for that quality. And dude, it's a love letter to all 80s mecha anime. So it's gonna be really, really cool. So,
that sounds exciting.
Sweet. Kaiju coming your way soon.
Kaijus and mechs and hot chicks.
From all over the world. It's very inclusive.
So I have a weakness.
All chicks are
hot chicks with guns.
Yeah.
The first time I saw my wife fire a 45 and
oh yeah, that's sexy. That's sexy.
I was like, dear God.
The most genuine smile I've seen from my wife is at a gun range.
I love guns. Now, I'm not saying I'm gun happy, but guns do make me happy.
Okay. I love that.
That's what I would say. Let's welcome the chat. We got Mad Ruth on the panel this morning and in the chat. He was first. Bunny is in there second. You Bunny? Got beat. John Apple's in the house. Dang it, now I'm hungry. Of course. Gotta have that bacon. We've got a lurker alert. We got Creators Outlet Will Pace in the house. Hail nerds and lurkers. And let me see. We got Glenn Fleming in the house. Welcome, my friend. Good afternoon from England. Nerders. This is going to be a good one. Yes, it is going to be a good one. We are talking about trying to organize, and we've already touched on it a little bit. That's why I asked how everyone's week was going, because I know everybody is trying to pile up what they want to do with what they have to do. And as a professional, you have to organize that chaos. We're going to talk about that this morning after the news. And we're going to talk about how to escape the crab bucket. Because no matter how hard you try, at one point, we might have been a crab, right? Because we were there. We were just trying to get out of the bucket too, right? So how do you escape the crab bucket? And we're going to talk about that a little bit today as well. Welcome, RJ William. He's my new co-host. We do a show together on Sundays with C.S. Johnson, CJ as we like to call her. And we talk about faith and comics. We've been doing that now for a couple weeks, and that's going to continue on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. And we've got Immortal Rising in the house. Welcome. Hail Nerds. It's great to have you here today. Dr. Masks, Retro Elixirs in the house. Hail Nerd Bacon. Let me see who else we got going. We've got Hojo. Hojo had a good week. He got his first physical proof. And he's pretty excited. Those books are going to print. They look beautiful, man. They look beautiful. And I'm excited for him. It is that feeling of getting that book for the first time.
Nothing like it.
Yep.
Speaking about, you asked before about how I was doing, Luke, and speaking about books, I've been taking a crash course in in comics, I guess, sequential art and anatomy and all the wonderful things of 2D, because normally I do 3D stuff. So my workload has been increased like double, because I'm forcing myself to constantly, study everything plus my additional work. So I'm like in the, no sleep mode, just, going ham every single second I can spare on picking up my skill set so I can get into comics.
Very cool, man. No sleep till Brooklyn.
Yeah, it is a rabbit hole that you will find yourself falling into.
You'll never absorb enough.
Yeah, you can never
There's
learn
always
enough.
more to
You can
learn.
never learn enough.
Yep.
Yeah. Bunny says sometimes you're the humper and sometimes the humpy. That is very true. That is very true. Glenn's worried about me because I'm laughing. The truth is, Glenn, I'm just happy. I'm happy. I'm not as salty as I used to be. I still call myself the salty artist, but it's for a different reason now. It has more to do with the salt and light scripture than anything. But no, we found a new church. We're getting plugged in over there.
That's great.
Beth's getting acclimated into her work. We're trying to find a stride here in this new town. The weather is changing, so it's nicer.
Yes.
I've got great family. I've got great work. I love doing what I do. I mean, I get to make cartoons for a living and get to hang out with all y'all. I mean, why not laugh, right? We make funny books, man.
Yeah.
Right. It's comic books. Why are we taking this crap so serious?
I mean, talk about living in a privilege. I mean, we're doing what we want to do and making a living.
Yeah. Right.
Wait.
Working hard to make a living at it, at least. Yeah.
Wait, are you saying I have privilege too?
Yes. Even Pedro.
Yes.
We all have privilege.
Even Pedro has privilege.
I have the privilege of being alive and being able to breathe air.
This is
a
noble feeling, guys.
Amen to that.
This is a noble feeling, guys. I'm having a moment.
Just having breath in my lungs, man. That's a
finally got privilege.
We got Agent Zero here. Hail, welcome, my friend. It's good to have you here this morning. Randy has a black belt too, but it just holds up his pants.
It does. Yes.
It does. It does hold up.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, Bunny believes that Russ Leach is a badass.
Oh yes,
we all agree. We all agree.
Have you seen some of his recent posts? Anybody on Twitter? Russ Leach?
No, I haven't.
You might see a character drawing or two up there of the project we're working on.
Oh,
I'm not sure what he's been posting.
Nice. Glenn points out a nice detail
for them to fall. Yeah,
nice.
It's true.
Randy is just a sweatshirt. And from the down is just boxers. That's why you never see him stand up.
Yeah, it's boxers because he is. Oh God! Shut up, dogs! I'm gonna mute.
They love you this morning.
They really do. Sounds like they're
next to the bump assist or something.
It's like they're whistling.
Yeah,
it's a great reference. Sons of Papa
Oh. If you don't get that reference, I'm sorry.
I love it. That was great.
Oh, that's that you gotta read more Howard.
Yes, because, Robert E. Howard was a Stephen King of the early 20th century.
He was incredibly prolific, just like King was, but he's a lot more of a tormented soul than I think King is. King's just.
If I can ever get Diamond's attention, I want to draw a Red Sonja. So
and without the political, diarrhea that Stephen King involved.
I read On Writing by Stephen King, and all I got out of that was read more books, write more books. Really,
need to read Danse Macabre by Stephen King. That's a lot better book. He wrote it a lot earlier. It's about his views on horror and the horror genre.
Oh, nice!
It's very interesting. Yeah. Nice. There is, if you want to read a good book on writing, there's a screenwriting book by Joe Straczynski that is printed with Writer's Digest, and I think he's written another one since then on writing. Just you can't go wrong with that. You just can't.
Speaking of Straczynski, do you guys know Babylon 5 is getting an animated movie?
Already done.
Yeah,
it's already done.
It's done. The remaining cast members are all involved. It's incredibly exciting.
And they got other voice talents to do the voices of those that have passed too.
Yeah,
so
and
everybody's in it.
And everybody who was involved originally in the project, I hate this camera, but everybody who was involved in the project he went to them to approve of the voice actors coming in. He
Yeah.
wasn't even going to do it if the rest of the cast was against having somebody replace their friends.
Oh, cool. Dude, the thing is, like, I have to be completely honest. When I saw Babylon 5 for the first time when it came out, I said, well, many people said, like, what is this dollar store Star Trek thing? And I only needed like 2 chapters, and I was sold.
Yeah.
It was a different beast, man. It was an awesome show.
You get past Bristolian Dave in the house, and
what's up?
I hate to interrupt you,
first. Oh, sorry.
I was going to hate to interrupt you, but we were speaking of him, and he shows up.
Yeah.
So there we go.
What's up,
Welcome,
Russ?
Black Belt.
You get past the first half of the first season of Babylon 5, and suddenly you're finishing the series, and you're like, "Where is more?"
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Towards
The way that it is.
the end, it just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing,
Yeah.
and you're like, wow. Like the Emperor does his thing, you're just like, damn.
There's an exciting variant
no
cover
inspiration
program
for my
Oh yeah, they're giving you like a live chicken and 50 cents or something. Like it was something ridiculous. Is that what we're talking about here? Like the
But
oh man,
but it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like,
And it's sponsored. They paid for this one.
Ka-ching. They laid off a third of their staff, but they can still buy ads on ICV2.
Well, it depends on how much ICV2 is charging, though. That's the part.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
Hunger in the Dusk.
Oh.
Our latest Netflix pitch.
Yeah.
variant cover program.
Dude, if they call it that, it would be more, more sincere, and maybe they will move more bucks. It's like,
but
our latest Netflix pitch. Hunger.
So how does a variant cover program work? A bunch of starving artists turning work, hoping that their artwork
No. Can I explain it? Let me explain to you how a variant cover system works. You put it in previews and you tell the retailers, here's this artist that you might know doing this work that you might like, doing a cover you can only get if you buy 25 of the other guy's cover.
Yep.
So you have to buy on your 26th cover, on your 26th issue of a book you might sell 3 of in your shop. You get that variant cover. Good for you.
Yep. And then they tell all of their long box pullers, look, this variant's coming in. It's going to be, you're going to want to get this graded.
Yep.
Right.
It's going to be a valuable variant cover for like 6 weeks and then nothing.
So the speculating market is still limbering along, is what you're saying.
It's the only thing keeping them retailers afloat, and God bless the retailers out there who are still there because they fight every day to cover their bills.
It's a hard industry being a retailer. I actually used to work a comics shop here in Toronto for a little while. And speaking of variant covers, they had one dude just come in and steal a bunch of them, right?
Yeah.
And you're just like, how does the guy stay in business?
Exactly.
Dude, in the immortal words of Alan Rickman, by the hammer of Mlakor, what savings?
I forgot you're from my old stomping ground, Toronto. Yeah, I lived in Toronto for 25 years.
Yeah.
Can I come with you?
Yeah.
It's terrible here.
Yeah, I retailed for a decade. I met my wife while I was retailing, so I got a good taste of what that market is like, and that was a long time ago. So it's only gotten worse since then.
Yeah.
So any retailer that's out there is literally fighting every day just to cover his bills. So have a lot of appreciation for him and go visit them often if you can. Look through their long boxes and buy that stuff that's been sitting around for too long in his shop.
Well, that's if they allow you in their shop. If they tell you that they don't
That's
want
true
you
too.
there, then what are you supposed to do?
Find a better shop, I guess. Luke
Yeah,
had to drop out for a minute, so I guess we're going to carry on.
Yeah, let's do it.
There we are. He warned us this might happen.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Not a problem. But I can tell you shamefully how the variant cover started.
Go ahead.
Why is it
back in
shameful?
the well, it's not too well. It's not all my fault, but
okay.
Way back when,
You heard it first here.
in the
Right.
mid '80s. No, I'm serious. In the mid '80s, Arrow Comics had a comic called Dead World,
Okay.
That was the very first zombie comic out. Well, not the very first. It's the very first zombie apocalypse comic. Let's put it that way, because there were other zombies in comics. In fact, the Comic Code Authority came in and banned the word zombie from everybody's cover and the interior of the books just to try to keep that material from hitting the stands. But we did a zombie apocalypse book by Vince Locke, did the artwork on it. Stuart Kerr wrote the majority of it, and he co-plotted it with Ralph Griffith. Well, the second issue of Dead World had a zombie on the cover with his guts spilling out. And some of the retailers went ballistic. The first issue cover had a zombie head on it, which was decaying, which wasn't too graphic, but that second cover was extremely graphic. And so the retailers started screaming, we can't put this on the shelves. We can't put this on the shelf with this gory cover on it. And so we were driving to Chicago Con. It was Ralph, Stu, myself, and Mark Bloodworth, who did Night Streets also for Arrow Comics. We said, how are we going to solve this problem? And we all decided it was really easy to do. You give them a gory cover and you give them a tame cover, and you let the retailers choose which one they want to use. So we had a variant cover that we were offering. And if you're ever out in the wild and you happen to catch a Dead World comic with a tame cover on it, they are extremely rare. So Vince would go through and do these great paintings of like apples and just, kind of almost like still life paintings, great pieces of art that we used for the tame cover for Dead World. And then he would do extremely gory covers for the other cover for Dead World. And literally the job got him a gig doing every cover for Cannibal Corpse ever since the band Cannibal Corpse. Yeah. After that, and Vince went on to do work for DC for a lot of inking work, I think for Sandman Mystery Theater, a lot of Sandman material, other stuff like that. He also illustrated the graphic novel The History of Violence, which was turned into a movie.
Yeah, with Viggo Mortensen, right?
Yes. Yep. But Vince got his start at Arrow, and the variant cover really got its start at Arrow. And then shortly after that, everybody else started climbing on it because they realized you could pump up your sales if you offer two versions of the same book.
Right. Hey, Luke, can you expand my screen here?
And it's just kind of mutated into what we had today.
I got the comic that Randy's talking about pulled up here, or comics, I guess. Dead World.
Luke, if you could make him large. He might be frozen still.
Yeah, they're switching. They're over at the internet plant. The guy on the bike.
He's just running.
It's another shift.
Got to whip some hamsters into shape.
Yeah. The hamster's dead.
So
bring in the new hamster. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you ever see a Dead World out there, take a look at it. Comics Kayfabe have done a couple of issues or a couple of videos on how great Vince's artwork is for Dead World. They consider him one of the premier outlaw comics artists.
Is this the one here, first series, Dead World 1986?
Yeah.
The cover?
I can't see it. It's got a zombie. It's the number 2. No, it's the number 1 cover that I just saw flash by. With just the head. The number 2 has got
this one.
That's number 1 there.
The guts.
Number 2 has got its guts spilling out. Yeah. Number 1 was considered tame. Keep climbing.
Hang on, I'm gonna expand this somehow.
There we are.
It's not working. It's god.
It's all gone. Okay.
Yeah, all right, whatever.
All right. So valiant attempt.
Yeah,
I tried.
What's important is you tried. So
yeah,
that's great.
But yeah, I mean, I remember like image books. I'd go to buy them, and it'd be 15 versions, like The Darkness, 20 cover. I'm not buying 20 covers of this. It's like issue 12.
You make money in this business. You take it to the nth degree until you're not making money anymore. That's the way that works.
But that's like obsessive compulsive behavior right there. It's like 20 covers. Like
way back when Arrow did it in order to service the retailers, to give them material that they can actually put out at the front of their rack. That they didn't have to worry about having to cover up or anything like that. So
cool.
That's
every time the internet slows down.
That's a reason to make a variant cover.
Well, that's why we did it. Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's a
want to
good reason
service
for
the
a
rack.
variant cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Service the rack.
Or you
And-
even put the PG one out front and then all the naughty ones behind it, and then people aren't even the wiser, right?
Well, they used to have to take a backing board and cut a third of it off, is what a lot of the retailers were complaining about, so that the logo along the top would at least pop out. Yeah, they had to, so you get angry moms. You don't want angry moms in your shop.
That's right.
You really don't.
There's been Karen since the dawn of time.
It's the dawn of time, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Image goes exclusive with Lunar for direct market distribution.
Oops.
Look at that.
Someone's angry at Diamond.
Diamond
One of these,
another one.
One of these first few Dead Worlds goes for $320 or $308.23.
Those values are only as good as what you can get from the guy who wants to pay it.
True.
Yeah. That's it. It is a great book, though. Don't get me wrong. And it's slabbed like that, especially number 1 with the black cover on it. It's really hard to find in decent shape. So,
I imagine.
Yeah.
Hard to find in the wild.
I love a good zombie. Who doesn't?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Good zombies.
I read Walking Dead from start to finish until they finally killed off the characters. I don't know how many years I was at that, but I never missed an issue.
I will watch just about any zombie movie they make.
Speaking about,
if you read the first couple of issues of Dead World and the first couple of issues of Walking Dead,
have you guys seen the Cuban zombie movie?
The Cuban zombie movie?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? The Cuban?
It's called Juan of the Dead.
Juan.
Yeah, Juan of the Dead. Check it out.
What happened?
What happened? It's Juan of the Dead. And it is the thing is it's a zombie movie, but it has I think it's ironic communist messaging underneath. But dude, it attacks like European tourism in Cuba. There's a lot of things it's a really funny movie, man. It's a really funny.
Please tell me there's at least one necktie in there where they slit someone open and pull their tongue out.
No, that's Colombia. That's Colombia. That's the wrong part of Latin America. That's called the Medellin necktie. Medellin is in Colombia.
Right.
Look, to the Great White North, it's all the same thing.
I know. I feel bad that I even try. Let's just say that.
Yeah, this is an international panel today. We got 2 Canadians and a Panamanian.
Panamanian. Panamanian sounds better.
Please make a spoof intro for the Panamaniacs. Please.
Yeah,
Panamanian. We've got to do this.
That would be funny.
We are the Panamaniacs.
Nobody knows who we really are.
Hey, Panama's the best thing Sammy Hagar ever sung. So.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, it was 1984. That was David Lee Roth who recorded the song. But yeah, Sammy Hagar.
This has been the ADHD portion of Liken. I have no idea what HD is, but the doctor says I've got 80 of them. So
there you go.
Nice.
So speaking of
HD, that stands for hard drive. Yeah.
So what's driving this Image Comics going exclusive with Lunar other than diamond sucking?
Yeah. So Image was previously exclusive.
Sorry.
Thank you. Exclusively distributed to the direct market by Diamond Comics Distribution. In a statement accompanying the announcement, Image CFO Eric Larson said that the move was a difficult one, but was motivated by the needs of its readers and retailers.
And just so our audience knows, the F in that is not a 4-letter word.
No, it's not.
No.
You want me to read, Luke?
Chief.
Do you want me to read it?
Yes. Please, somebody else read today.
Chief F off. Eric Larson
killing me.
Said that the move was a difficult one, but was motivated by the needs of its readers and retailers, who are its real customers. It's retailers. That's what they said. Screw those readers.
I don't trust
anything
Eric Larson says.
Who are its real customers. There are services Lunar will provide that will make it easier for stores to buy our titles and for fans to find our books, he said. This is a big win for them. And we hope this new partnership is as strong and long-lasting as the previous one. Diamond will buy Image from Lunar and sell them as a wholesaler.
That's 3 different studios now. That's the top 3
Marvel
studios.
DC, now Image.
Okay.
That's the top 3 studios.
I saw like a video like last year or whatever. Like Diamond is running on Windows XP or something like that. They have like very old system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of, dude, like upgrade. Like there's softwares that will take care of a distribution company, like no problem. Like
don't
chase
off our listeners, Luke.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
a new
why is this guy? Why is this guy staring at me?
New comics are.
Because we're segueing to
the new comic czar.
The new comic czar for Kickstarter.
He looks like he can get a hernia from lifting a coffee cup.
Does he look like the same guy that owns Coward Funder?
Yeah,
looks like him. Yeah,
it's that style. Like
there's a type.
Yeah. There's a type.
But back on the lunar,
I know more than you. All right.
On the lunar thing, though, that's the third big company. They're going to end up with the way that they're servicing the retailers, the way that they're shipping their books. They're going to end up passing Diamond here literally anytime.
Yeah,
and they're going to retailers realize how good they are. They'll go over there.
They're going to service the rack better. That's what they're going to do. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Kickstarter taps
that rack.
Kickstarter taps former Amazon exec Bryce Gold to lead comics publishing.
Bryce, nice.
Well, that didn't take long.
That's a bit of a misleading headline because wasn't he the Comixology guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Comixology. So that just makes him an Amazon exec now? Come on.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
What was Comixology's banning habits? Were they all censorship?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that didn't take long. Yesterday, Bryce Gold announced on Twitter that he was leaving Amazon's Comixology unit, where he was head of content at Comixology Originals. How many Comixology Originals do you remember? Anyway, after 8 years with the company, today, Kickstarter has announced Gold will step in as head of comics as Oriana Lockhart moves over to focus on other aspects of publishing. Sacked.
Dude, but Kickstarter is not a publisher. Like, dude, like,
Yes. Gold had been with Comixology since 2015. So he's had a long career of 7-8 years there. Anyway, and stepped into the head of content role when Chip Mosier left last summer. Oh, he's only been there since last summer in the head spot. Since that time, Amazon has moved to integrate Comixology fully into the corporate and technology structure. See Bloodbath at Comixology.
Yeah.
Yes. So he got there and they sacked it. Anyway, and most of the announcements on the original side were around some of the digital series finding print homes at Dark Horse. See, Dark Horse to publish Census, dark comedy by Mark.
We'll talk about Dark Horse in a moment. I think we got some good news for them.
A critical role in the industry. Kickstarter Gold will manage and curate the comics category, which is one of the most successful on the crowdfunding platform.
Is it?
The comics category, really? Which one of the most successful on the crowdfunding platform?
On Kickstarter?
Why don't they treat it better? Anyway, Kickstarter reveals top 15 comic projects of 2022. According to the company, Bryce will join our outreach team, the multidisciplinary unit dedicated to connecting with and advocating for Kickstarter's creators.
Let's stop right there.
That's censorship police.
This is media newspeak for gatekeeper.
Let's stop right there for a second, because so this announcement was made on May 23rd.
Yeah.
It is May 25th. Yesterday was May 24th. Okay.
Yep.
On May 23rd, there was a video made where they were talking about this guy being in charge of campaigns on Kickstarter, and that everything will be fine, even though this guy is an F Trump tweeter. Like he's the guy that gets on Twitter and he's F Trump and all this kind of stuff, right? Clearly, there's a type. You can tell they wear it on their bald head. And their
hey!
As a bald-headed man, I resent that remark. Hey,
I'm just being salty, guys. I'm being
okay. Question for you: does this guy drive a Tesla or does he drive like a Prius?
Give me a second.
This guy He probably just rides a bicycle back and forth.
Probably traded in his Tesla for a Volkswagen for something that wasn't made by
he rides an
Yahtzees.
electric scooter. A scooter or a Segway. One of the two.
You know what? So I was told, my dad told me when I was a kid, he goes, son, riding a scooter is a lot like doing a fat lady. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, sure is a lot of fun, but you don't want your friends finding out about it.
That's true.
Yeah, you don't look good. You'll never look good riding a scooter. No.
My dad had a lot of funny ones. I miss that old man.
If this guy's got a scooter, it's a Vespa.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
And Vespa is already borderline. Like, yeah, you want to be like Italian? Yeah, no, you're not Italian. So,
I had a Honda Ruckus for 2 years, and it was great on fuel. I used to drive that thing on and off the base, but all the cars would just fly by me because that was an inconvenience. But,
dude, just the sound of the motor will bring down your sperm count. It's like, nah, dude, nah.
All right, so every once something will happen in the news, and it ends up on your doorstep. It affects you directly. This is one of those cases. Okay. Let's welcome Nick Gear. He's here. Diamond should start entering.
Nick Gear.
Yeah, they might do, Andy. Who knows what's going to go on there? Diamond sucks. Nobody really wants to. Bunny's yelling soy. He sees the soy. Can you smell the soy from here?
Gotta say it right. Soy.
Sweet.
It's all fun and games until your friends see you do it.
Yep.
I think I might be more of an oat milk guy.
I eat that. Yeah, oat milk. This is, oh my gosh. Okay, ADHD moment.
Gluten free.
I cannot stand this oat milk creamer stuff that they've been putting in the gas stations. It is disgusting. Like, give me good old fashioned dairy and give me tons of sugar, my friends.
What's happening?
Anyway.
What's happening in America? Like oatmeal? What? Creamer?
Milk.
What's up? That's your takeaway?
Never
good old
mind
things
this,
like
right?
eggs and red meat and milk lead to
Milk. Dude, what
testosterone, so they
happens,
got to
like,
remove all that stuff.
Don't you feel like cows feel insulted when you're not
Pedro
having
draws the line at oat milk. Like it's
dude.
It's so much worse.
Yeah, I know, but dude, it's the little things that get you like over the top, and it's like
It's always
dude.
that. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, never mind. We're entering into propaganda month.
Yeah, we
or pandering month, man. It's like,
oh, dude, yeah. The things like right down here, we have that community too, but we just ignore them.
look, I'll be real honest. If I were gay, I would be totally offended by what these corporations do during Pride Month.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, you're just pandering. Like all those rainbows go away. Like they don't say anything about that community except for June, and then they're all about it. You know, it's like, come on, we know what you're doing, and
Or they don't acknowledge that
bad
there
luck.
are people of various sexual orientations that aren't part of the LGBTQ alphabet and don't want anything to do with it.
Right?
You know?
Yeah. So anyway,
and
let's
not
get back
only
to this
that,
guy. So this,
I mean, all this pandering is not for the dude like
representation.
The LGBT represent. No, it's for people who crave attention. And
Absolutely.
that has nothing to do with your sexual orientation or your sexuality or whatever. It's like
it's a sword and a shield to I am righteous. I am a righteous person.
It's really it's really misleading in the end because the corporations are doing it in order to pump up their ESG score, which is something that apparently the banks pay attention to, even though since those other banks went down, New Republic and that they're not loaning to corporations. They're being incredibly cautious.
Your ESG score has to be in a certain range for the government to bail you out when you are paying your customers, and they stop buying your product.
Yeah,
but ESG is going down, guys.
Well, it's almost like a catch-22. In order to keep your score up there, you have to do things that cause people to stop buying your product. Bud Light, HGTV.
Because it's not true capitalism. It's like an anti-capitalism force, is what it is.
It is. It's fascism. It's government coercion of privately owned businesses.
So speaking of fascism or gatekeeping, so this news actually came to my doorstep yesterday.
So
I knew very little about what was going on. Okay.
This is literally meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah. Well, actually worse than the old boss. Because the old boss was letting things on the platform.
Some things go by,
things were going by, So this guy comes in, and within 24 hours, so there's a conversation about, they're just going to let things go. It's not going to be a big deal. That you're still going to be able to have freedom of speech over there. Well, within 24 hours, they wind up kicking off a campaign that was approved and not only funded, but was about $4,000 and was on their way. They'd already funded, but they were on their way to their $6,000 stretch goal, right? Kicked them off the platform, refunded everybody, and just said, hey, they're suspended. Well, that campaign only had one place to go.
Hell yeah.
Fund my comic.
Fund my comic. And so they immediately get with me and they immediately create a campaign. They were a little confused at first. They thought that we were more expensive than Kickstarter. We are not. We're actually cheaper than Kickstarter. They've been up and live this morning. They've already got 13 backers.
Look at his photo. Can you go back to that? That's awesome.
Yeah.
How's that for a big
nice? Can I be salty for a second?
Feel free.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Feel free.
This could have been you, crowdfunder. You idiots. Okay, continue.
That's right.
Yeah.
Could have been you. So already Kickstarter is, and there is nothing in this campaign that is salty. Basically, what this book is about, it's you know what? Let me let you guys watch the trailer. It's a little long. It's a little on the long side, but it makes sense. Here, check this out.
Need sound.
Yeah, need sound.
You got sound?
No, no sound.
We're not hearing it.
We can hear a thing.
It's a silent movie.
Yeah.
It's a silent movie.
Yeah,
Internet.
Yeah, that will hamper your trailer.
Hold on.
You do a silent trailer.
Internet.
Oh,
it's a silent trailer.
Let's see.
Was it the internet or was it the trailer?
Oh, this is
your sound is down. It looks like.
Yeah, when you get to see the creator.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not fond of those.
Yeah. Well, here, let me do this. Let me stop sharing this one.
Yeah.
And I will share.
Reshare it.
I will share this screen over here because I know this one's working. I know this sounds
like Pedro's comment there. He's like, when we get to see the creator, as we're looking at his face.
Yeah.
The thing with trailers.
Nothing against the creator per se, but the things like I don't like trailers with the videos like, hi, I'm Gordon Shumway, and this is like dude, I want to see the book. You know what I mean? Like it's nice that you're a person and you exist.
He's gonna talk. He's gonna look. We've already got another backer for him. 14 backers, which is 13 a second ago. So all right, here, check this out.
In 1925, a group of businessmen in Dayton, Tennessee met at a drugstore to discuss the recently passed Butler Act, which forbade the teaching of evolution in Tennessee schools. They looked for a teacher willing to admit to teaching evolution and then willing to be arrested. The leader of the local cabal, George Rapelier, found his volunteer, local high school teacher John T. Scopes. The Scopes trial became a media sensation, with reporters from all over the country arriving to cover the proceedings. The trial also attracted the attention of high-profile figures such as lawyer and politician William Jennings Bryan, who joined in the prosecution, and renowned defense attorney Clarence Darrow, recruited by the ACLU, who assisted in Scopes' defense. In drama and in fiction, the trial is presented as a case of modern progressive science against outdated religious superstition. Today, however, the shoe is on the other foot, as the modern progressive advocates of gender theory and transgenderism defy the truths of biological science. So what would happen if we brought the story of the Scopes monkey trial up to date amid today's atmosphere of transgender mania? That's what The Wise of Heart is all about.
He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind, and the fool shall be servant to the wise of heart.
He wanted to test the new Gender Awareness in Academia Act, but high school biology teacher Mike Andrews got more than he bargained for. Arrested and thrown in jail for the crime of teaching the biology of sex determination and for refusing to affirm a student's gender identity, Mike faces a show trial amid a media circus. Who can he trust? The superintendent who set him up, his defense attorney who shares a secret history with the prosecutor, his girlfriend who may not have his best interests in mind, or her mother who is out to destroy him. Mike will have to learn that winning the game sometimes requires writing your own rules, and success comes only to the wise of heart. Illustrations by Ellen Chansey further bring the events of the Wise of Heart to life. However, those illustrations add significantly to the production cost of the book. That's why I'm giving you the opportunity to support the Wise of Heart and be first in line to receive the complete ebook, special backers, limited edition print versions, as well as other special features and benefits. Check it out. And back to Dave. Thank you.
See, a little on the long side.
Yeah.
A little on the long side, right? But I mean, it was
informative.
A lot of history.
Yeah.
Very informative.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. He didn't talk about himself. He talked about the book. So
all about
I take that back. I take that back.
So this book is too offensive for Kickstarter, but Target's good to go to sell dresses and swimsuits that have chest binders.
Did you see the book
tuckers for 3-year-olds? That's okay though, right?
Did you see the book Kickstarter like highlighted on the page they send them? It was like our like lesbian French kiss or something, and it's like two like brightly colored lesbians kissing. Like, that's okay. And I don't know, man.
You know, this was not acceptable. They suspended it and refunded everybody their money. He had $4,000 raised over there.
BS, man.
Now he's trying to go for
work. How much work did he put in to get there? You know, like how much grinding and going on shows and
so much
work.
15
backers I get it when
already.
they say you've got to have your YouTube and you've got to have your audience, because it's very much a key component. It's so hard to get to that dollar number, and just to have a corporation take that away from you.
Because you
right on, Agent Zero. Does me
because their fees are.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the this is why we exist. So the news actually came to our door today. Oddly enough, it's one of those situations where you don't expect that to happen very often, or really sometimes ever, but it really did today. So
I wonder if all the people who I see walking around with those I read banned books shirts would read this book.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
They would ban and burn.
Yeah, they would ban and burn this book.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it's going to be really hard for them to pleasure themselves with that book.
It's already been banned and burned over at Kickstarter. So
exactly.
They even take banned books out of context. Those books aren't banned. What it is we don't want those books in the children's section teaching children who know nothing about sex about how to perform sexual acts.
What is it? They
logical
want
thing
those
to
books
do.
in front of children. Good grief.
It is
with this book here. Like, it just reminds me more of like the crap that got going on in Canada with like the Bill C-11 and the internet censorship stuff. And it's just
so we're a testing ground for the United States.
What are you doing, Canada?
The reason why we exist is they create stuff up here in Canada, and they say, hey, look, the Canadians are doing it. If they can do it, we can do it. So we're like the test tube for ideological stuff, and then they try to make the excuse that it's acceptable because it happened here. That's exactly what
You guys are at the pitchforks and torches stage right now. You got to foment revolution.
Yeah. And the thing's like, I don't know. I've been to Canada and I've been to the U.S. Canadians tend to be like more passive.
We are. You can walk all over us for days until we fight back.
But Canadians can be very passive aggressive though. That's the thing. Because people get mad.
Once we've had enough, we've had enough.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. Like, when I get to America, I think things tend to be very direct.
Yeah. I think there are two types of Canadians. There's your we'd like to call the Cityots, right? The Justin Trudeau, fake plastic, progressive people.
Don't know anything outside of their 15-block radius.
Exactly. Then there's the redneck Canadians, right? Like the northern Canadians.
That'd
you
be
go
me.
for a rip there, bud? Like those.
I'm out in New Brunswick.
You want to fight about it?
Yeah.
You want to fight about
Maine is as
with
far.
hockey players at the
If you
missing
think
teeth.
Maine is as.
Yeah, dude.
If you think Maine's as far east as you can go, you're wrong. You go east of Maine, you get to where I live.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. That's the thing. Like I lived in Vancouver, so I get like the city. But dude, when I met people from Alberta, yeah, that was a completely different experience.
So Craig is definitely a want to fight. Hey, so you want to fight about it? Kind of Canadian. Yeah. You want to fight about it?
You want to fight about it?
Let's go.
I'm sorry, but it'll come to fisticuffs. I'm sorry.
No kidding, eh?
Well, it's true
Absolutely
though.
Oil
Canadians
company, man.
are like that.
Freedom of expression.
Duality of the two.
Yeah.
So freedom of expression, fierce independence, and trust. That's what Todd and I knew that we had to build this platform on. Yesterday, John Malin asked the question. So if he goes, "You're a Christian?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "So if someone comes on the platform and wants to do a How to Worship the Devil book on your platform, do you gatekeep it?" I say, "Well, no, because the only way for me as a believer to have complete freedom of expression with my faith in what I do is to allow that for everyone. Otherwise, I can be guilty of the same thing, and then I deserve to be gatekept just like they do. We have to have a completely neutral ground where people can come in and express themselves freely. If you want to come on the platform and write a book and have a book about how this guy is an idiot and how there are multiple genders, feel free to do that. Put your money where your mouth is and make that book and fund it on Fund My Comic. Put it right next to this guy if that's what you want to do. But this guy was on Kickstarter. Right here, he says it reviewed and approved by Kickstarter before launch. The Wise of Heart crowdfund campaign was fully funded at the original $3,000 target, well on the way to $6,000 stretch goal. And less than a week before closing, when Kickstarter changed their mind and tried to cancel the project. They will not succeed. Thanks to fundmycomic.com for agreeing to help bring the project to life.
He might have grounds for a lawsuit.
We have a special guest. Oh my gosh.
Hey guys.
Nick
I
Tucker.
got a question for you.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
Hey.
Jeez.
When you guys start talking about the not wanting books banned and I read banned books shirts, collectively, do you guys have your heads up your butts for your warmth, or are you that completely clueless that in order to maintain the rights of, say, the Second Amendment, everybody has to have access to firearms. The First Amendment, everybody has to have access to say what they want, put it out, and that the librarians have a duty to put what's out historically. That way, if it's BS, you can look back at it from a historical perspective and it can't be erased. Exactly. I'm sorry, because it's really easy to take pot shots at librarians like that. And the people saying I ban books when you want them to ban the books you don't like. Right now, we sit and I listen to Fund My Comic and the message behind Fund My Comic and everything you guys are saying you stand for is the right of free speech for people to express their stuff, whether you like it or not.
Free speech does not mean shoving pornography in a child's face.
Free exchange of ideas. Yeah.
Free exchange of ideas.
Pornography is not a free exchange of ideas, putting it in front of children's faces and warping their fucking minds.
That is
absolutely.
And that is a different thing from banned books.
Yep.
The problem is the I read banned books. There are a lot of books you can't put in a child's space.
Yes.
And that's fine. What's happening is you guys are being used right now. You're being played to get people to say, yeah, because as soon as you start banning things in public libraries, because what they're going to say is ban it in school libraries, everybody's going to go, well, that makes sense. Well, it shouldn't be in public libraries. And now you're marching straight towards good speak, not truth. Whatever's in power. And that can switch real fast.
Nick, I'm going to stop you there because I don't know how you're making this leap or where that's coming from, because I kind of feel like you're got your head up your ass right now when you're saying that. I feel like we're pretty clear on where we stand about the freedom of expression and the freedom of speech in a public arena, but we still need to protect our kids. There's a big difference there.
You know what?
We're not advocating banning books in an actual library.
As soon as you start talking about do those people with
yes,
who,
Those people aren't talking about this book.
No,
Not,
listen,
they don't want.
You have to listen to what you say, not what you mean. That's what you get lost
They
in.
want gender queer, but they don't want this book to exist.
I'm talking about as soon as you guys brought it, because there's the level where you are right, and then you'll take it that next step because you're being encouraged to.
There's a huge difference between banning a book and removing a book from the children's section and putting it into the adult section
and
where
that's
it belongs.
what the I read banned books stuff is about. Just like when people say,
well, is it, Nick? Is it really?
Well, let's see. One of us has been a librarian. The other hasn't.
Well, my wife's been a librarian for a hell of a lot longer than you have, Nick.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. I've been in and out of that system for a long time. What do you know, Nick? Get your head out of your ass. You know what's happening out there.
I do know what's
happening. You know that there's a culture war. You know there is. You've admitted it, and we're losing it.
Checkers in a chess game right now.
No.
You know
what? That's what somebody coming along that wants to try to fight that game says. You're playing checkers in a chess game. Bullshit. No, we're not. We know exactly what's out there. We know that right now the voices that are being silenced are conservative voices. We know that right now Target is trying not to pull an Anheuser-Busch issue because they put binding swimsuits for little boys to make them look like little girls.
Again,
they're targeting our children.
Whose job is it to raise children? Whose job is it to feed them, to clothe them, to house them, to put them on the right path, to teach them morals, to put right and wrong, to live a fulfilling life, a productive life, and a good life? But whose responsibility is it? Is it the government's or is it the parents' responsibility?
Because that's what you came in here to talk about. Remember, we were having quite a good show. Then you came in to try to throw accusations about getting our head out of our ass, Mr. Positive.
You know what? I came on because I've tried to be positive and reasonable for quite a while, and that gets me spoken over. So I thought if I spoke in the more standard language of the salty artist, you might be able to hear it.
Nick,
the other thing is they're talking about.
I love you, but you're completely wrong.
They're talking about going after public librarians for the same thing. They're trying to.
Who?
Show me the article. Show receipts. I'm not seeing anything about that.
I can't bring it right now because you're cleaning my office.
Because we cover all of that, and you know we do, Nick.
And you know I will.
We grab everything that we see about these topics and we talk about them equally. None of us here on this panel have ever advocated banning a book in a library. I think genderqueer has the right to be made just as much as any other book, and I literally said that before you came on.
Why did you hop over to do the people who say ban these books, the people who wear the t-shirts, I read banned books. Yeah. They wouldn't read our books.
Would they read this book? The argument is those people are virtue signaling by wearing that shirt, and it's a double standard for them.
Yeah, it's no different than calling everything you don't like.
Those people the I read banned books has been going on a lot longer than this modern surge in we'll say extremity.
Call it grooming. That's what it is.
Talking about the postmodern use of the term. It's not actually talking about banned books. It's labeling books we don't want our kids to see to warp their minds. And just because we remove it from their site, put it on a different shelf,
and what I'm
being
saying
labeled
is
as a banned book. That is the whole issue here.
It's
not actually banned. It's just being removed from our children's site. Yet your
okay
side wants to call it a banned book, which is bullshit.
And that's what I'm
saying.
Same
with not wanting the difference between reading books to kids and being scantily clad and waving your genitals and your shit in front of little kids while they stuff dollar bills down your G-string. That's the thing people have a problem with.
And what I'm saying is you guys are being levered because all it takes is people to nudge. I watched it happen to the other side with the Second Amendment stuff. When it used to be ban automatic weapons. And then I watched the articles come out and they're like, well, ban semi-automatic weapons. I remember hearing all these people go, oh, they don't mean that. They don't mean.
Yes, they did.
And what I'm seeing. No, I know it gets hijacked. And the point is realize when you're when it's being hijacked, because you guys have the power to say, wait, we're being played just a bit, and be sure to draw the line. Because one, there's no point stirring up, enemies and starting conflicts.
So Nick, why did this book get taken off Kickstarter? Can you tell me what's offensive about this book to justify it coming down from Kickstarter?
It was taken off Kickstarter because it was considered anti-trans. That's why it was taken off Kickstarter.
Is that acceptable?
It's not. See, I have to explain this. I look at it like this.
See, that's what happens with this far left liberal mindset. You can't answer the question because the question is incriminating.
Luke, my speech impediment is acting up because I'm passionate. Do not confuse that for an issue.
I'm not going to confuse it.
What I am saying
I've known you long enough to know.
I am saying that I look at it like you. Yeah, I did. I came in and fired off, and every once in a while I do. I believe a company has the right not to take business from people. Okay, even if it's
pick and choose. They could pick and choose who to do business with.
Right.
Okay, that's
because
censorship.
This goes back to the whole thing with the cake debate. You guys remember the cake debate, right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I look at
business,
it is, instead of being upset that Kickstarter is doing this, you should be reveling.
Oh, I'm not upset.
We're not upset. We're not upset.
No, what made you think we were upset? No.
Yeah.
But because that's what's making you.
No, we're making money because of this.
Yeah.
Please, crazy liberals, keep doing it. It's helping me out.
That's how the market should work with that sort of thing. My problem is I get real passionate on the subject of libraries. It's one of the few that really completely lights me off.
But we didn't talk about libraries.
We're not talking about libraries, Nick.
Well, and like
libraries
I said,
wasn't even the topic, my friend.
Yeah, we're not talking about libraries. Nobody said libraries.
No,
maybe.
If you find one that triggered Nick.
No, guys, wait. Maybe it was the comment that I read banned books, and there's just a campaign that's going for longer than whatever. Like, dude, we're not talking about people who their heart is in the right place and read banned books for the right reasons. We're talking about the people who hijack that message and break the signal with it. Okay, so
and that's
maybe that's a confusion, but we're not saying
because
that people shouldn't be
what's
making any
happening
movies.
is a lot of people don't realize that that's being hijacked. So my point is, if I can catch it at it's sort of like you tell a dog, don't
look. We realize it's been hijacked. I don't think you realize it's been hijacked.
Every movement gets hijacked and exploited. If there's a profit to be made or a political message to tie to it, someone will exploit it. That happens with every movement.
Yes, so library is absolutely my trigger word because I'm a constitutional absolutist, and I have because what I hear is both sides of the American policy are working towards the erosion of rights on different areas
for different reasons.
But both sides of that big bird seem to want to erode the rights. You get what I'm saying? And I have to watch real careful.
I think Agent Zero has you pegged, man. You're talking past the panel. You're creating straw man. Let's call it what it is. Came in and started an argument. We thought we were going to have a little bit of fun with Nick this morning. No, there was no conflict on this panel before you showed up. We were talking about. We were on message. We know what we're talking about. We know that the message has been hijacked. We know that people are virtue signaling. We're happy. We're happy that this happened on Kickstarter and we're very happy that we have a Fund My Comic page that people can go to. Someone said "Ma'am, I Am" was banned on Kickstarter. No, they didn't even go to Kickstarter.
Yeah.
They're exclusive on Fund My Comic because they know that they wouldn't have been able to fund anywhere else. They funded. I'm telling you what, they got a little bit of notice overnight. Overnight, they funded, literally overnight. They got what was it, like 90 some backers in 24 hours, and they're pleased as peaches. I believe that Hans will be able to get his money back probably within the next few days so that he can make his book. And what I said, I'll repeat it, Nick. If someone wants to come on here and talk and write a book about how there are multiple genders, put your money where your mouth is, put the work in, and fund it right next to this book on Fund My Comic, and let the backers decide who's full of shit and who's not. Let the dollars speak.
Good.
That's what we said. Why'd you come in and start a fight, Nick? Why'd you choose violence this morning? Talk comics. That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk comics.
Now, see, like I said, I find it frustrating with how easy it is to target folks. And yeah, you know what? I came in hot and heavy, and you guys don't see that out of me a lot.
Well, I got to be honest. I think Oni needs to be targeted. That gender queer book was intentionally pornographic and intentionally aimed at kids.
I'm not, guys. I'm not talking. There is a lot of stuff going on that you're not hearing about because it's kind of scary for some of the librarians on the higher end right now.
Absolutely.
Because the problem is a good idea, like you said, can be hijacked. And because librarians tend to be historical types, they get real scared real fast over certain things. I remember this is the bunch that when the Department of Homeland Security became a thing, they came to the librarians and said, well, we're going to need to have all the records you keep on what books people check out. And they said, we don't keep those records. And that's why librarians don't keep those records anymore.
Look, and we're not talking about librarians.
We're not exactly librarians here, man.
My wife intentionally, I understand what's going on with librarians. That's not our topic today. Our topic today is crowdfunding.
This is a far cry from like the D&D is the the devil back in the day, or like Nazis burning books. This is smut for children they're putting out there, right? Versus like
Motley Crue put an upside down pentagram on their album.
Yeah, right? Like it's a completely different ball game, man. There's a collectivism.
Well, you know what I think?
Collectivism goal is to suppress speech as a whole, right? So they're putting out these books. And they're gonna as a whole, they're trying to, put culture into this one category of approved, things, or what do they call it? So stochastic terrorism or whatever. But it's a far cry between the two, right? Burning books to
well, that's why there's organizations like Gays Against Groomers, because
exactly.
civil rights is not a shield for sexual predators.
Yeah, and that is one thing, just like the like what I was saying, how easy something can get switched over. So often homosexuals get blended over as a cover group for pedophiles.
Yeah, we're not doing that either here, man.
We're not. We're not doing that.
No. I'm using that as an example of how quick it can blur.
You gotta keep this stuff on topic, man.
Yeah, dude.
You can't lump anything into a group. There's no united front of gays. There's no united fronts of whites. There's no united fronts of women. It's lumping people into groups so someone can say it's their responsibility to police it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not even a united front of black people. I don't care what our shop says or the NAACP. It's just dude, we're our own person here, all of us.
Everybody is unique.
We're all individuals.
Yeah, dude. And the thing is, I don't know, man. I can understand where you're coming from, Nick, but I don't. Maybe I'll have to say wrong target, because that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, we don't subscribe to identity politics here.
No, we don't. And I don't even want those books not to exist. Just don't put it in front of children.
I just don't want the kids to
make your books.
Wait till they get older, then they can take a look at it.
Exactly.
Look,
it's my responsibility
so we talked about
to talk about sexuality with my son when he's real.
Exactly. Yeah. It's our responsibility to our kids.
I keep saying it's become a shame now that basic common sense levels of public decency now looks like have to be legislated.
Yeah.
You're seeing all of these school board meetings going crazy now from parents that are running across books that they had no idea that their kids were reading. And that raises their awareness, which is a good thing about what's going on in the libraries. What it's going to cause a lot of heated debates for a while until those levels of public decency come through and these books are filed in their proper place and kept out of the hands of emotional, impressionable youth.
Isn't life confusing and hard enough to be a child, let alone having adults project their problems onto you in addition to just trying to figure your place out in the world? Really?
Yeah. And so to get back to the point, this guy makes a book. It gets approved. It's on Kickstarter. He's already funding. They hire a new guy. Within 24 hours, this book is taken off the platform.
Well, admit it. The wrong people pulled attention to the product is what happened. This guy coming on was probably just accidental or incidental.
There is nothing about this campaign
there isn't
anything that should be against any of their terms. I've looked at
another one that
terms.
got approved. It sat there long enough to raise $4,000. It was around long enough to not be a problem until somebody had a problem, right?
And my question is, if comics is such a big part of the platform, like the article says, and then why? Why are you removing books like Private American, which is only offensive if you have a hard party line? Why would you remove this book?
I think you answered your question there, Lou.
It's called censoring. It's what it is. And they're a private site. They're allowed to do that if they want.
Yeah, no,
that's already been tried in the courts. That's the cake debate that Nick was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
well,
but
the thing is there has to be a home for people with open voices like this.
Randy, the only gripe I have with that whole, like, it's my business and I'll service you if I want to. It's that, okay, have it up front. Don't let me in. Come up.
Absolutely.
I acquire all these compromises with backers, and then say, you know what? No, that to me it's egregious. It's malintent. There's malintent in that.
That was don't waste your time and don't lie to me. Yeah. If I'm not welcome, tell me straight up. I'm not welcome. Yeah, tell me.
Wasn't there this individual a little while ago that was like going to different massage parlors and stuff, and getting
that's
provocative waxes, and then there was like a big legal battle against that because women didn't want to give these private wax jobs or whatever.
And my understanding is. Yeah, they lost that legal battle several times, but they continue to press lawsuits. Yeah, and putting people in very uncomfortable positions.
You don't be that person. That's all I can say. Anybody in the world, never be that person.
Look, and Hans is not that person. What he did, it was approved, it was funding, and then he was canceled off of there.
Of course.
That's why we have a home like what we have here for my comic. So this week, the news came to our front doorstep, and we were able to be the ark, the lifeboat that we intended to be, for people to have this freedom and be able to make what they want to make, have that freedom of expression. So that is the topic. Let's get back to positivity. And so another really positive thing, I guess, good news for Mike Carlin. Mike Carlin has retired.
Good news for comics.
Good news for comics.
Actually, Mike Carlin is retired from DC after a long career, which had several different positions, including Superman group editor, VP executive editor, creative director, and director of animation. He posted a farewell to DC on his Facebook page. No finger involved, apparently, which was inundated with good wishes from his friends and co-workers. Carlin, who was born in Brooklyn, graduated from New York's High School of Art and Design and received a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree from the School of Visual Arts. Shortly after his graduation in 1980, he went to work for Marvel as a writer for Crazy magazine and eventually became an assistant editor there. His Marvel writing work includes Captain America 301 to 306, Masters of the Universe 1 through 8, Kazar the Savage, number 28 through 24, and several issues of Peter Porker, the Spectacular, Spider-Ham. important work.
I actually like
right
that.
there.
Yeah, I
Iconic
actually
work.
like that.
In 1986, Carlin moved to DC, where he spent the remainder of his career. He edited the Superman titles, including the groundbreaking Death of Superman event, see DC's plans for Superman Anniversary Special, and was Superman group editor and VP executive editor DC Universe before stepping back into the senior group editor role in 2003.
Now, I will tell you this. I thought that the books were well done for the Death of Superman, but where they messed up was all of these additional printings. They made it not very rare. Yeah. I mean, I've got like 5 or 6 copies myself that I have inherited for free.
It wasn't going to be rare to start with because the retailers really overordered that
they really
title
did.
to start
they
with.
needed to limit that. But that was in the 90s burst where people were speculating. And that hurt comics more than anything.
What a great time, though, to do a limited edition numbered hardcover and charge big money for it.
That would be perfect time to do that.
That would have been the way to go. He is also creative director and director of animation while at DC, and that's a gem for DC, their animation department.
Yeah,
Carlin also wrote a number of comics, including Star Trek 41 through 47, Next Generation 1 through 6, and a story that ran in Batman Black and White #3. In addition to writing and editing comics, Carlin was also a character, not once, but 3 times. He donned the Watcher's costume to introduce the backup story in Captain America 289 and appeared in the Batman Adventures #20 as Mastermind, one of an ambitious but hapless trio of villains that also included the Professor, based on Dennis O'Neil, and Mr. Nice, based on Archie Goodwin. And he came face to face with Mr. Mxyzptlk in Superman, the Man of Steel #75, which was a parody of Death of Superman. The Eisner Awards recognized Carlin's work with the Best Editor Award in '94, and he was nominated in '92. He also received the Inkpot Award in '94.
I like how Randy just drops down Mr. which I can't even pronounce the name of.
Yeah, dude. I was like, that's how you say it?
Mr. Mxyzptlk.
Exactly.
I would have never been able to
get that.
Yes. Without dropping a beat. That's impressive, man. Like, how many times?
I got that pronunciation from John Byrne.
Horrible safe word for me.
Mxyzptlk.
Horrible.
Mxyzptlk. No! We'll do it. No, I actually think Carlin was a pretty decent editor. Especially, I mean, he wouldn't have. I mean, he's not.
He knew what a comic book was.
Yeah, I mean, Antos lets a lot of stuff slide, and she keeps failing forward. This guy, I mean, Arpel O'Neil, and
attached to that.
you know. But I mean, hopefully, he wasn't the guy behind that that terrible panel with the bathtub covering the door in that Batgirl. Do I have that on my?
He was probably executive editor at that point,
so,
not the immediate editor.
Panels
that panel is the perfect conjunction of an artist who's probably using 3D models with a tight deadline, with an editor who doesn't give a crap. You know, all those things came together and created that panel.
Yeah, it all came together, and
it's kind of legendary now, though.
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
Certainly is legendary, Nick.
Is that the Plan 9 from outer space of comics? Like right there, could that be the golden turkey of?
No. There's been much worse.
There's much worse.
Now, see, that's a show you guys should do.
There's an entire run of Squirrel Girls out there somewhere.
Oh,
most of the world's finest stories from back in the day. I mean,
some of those are cherry though. They're
Superman with the river. That's like the greatest cover ever.
Some of those old Captain Marvels before the code kicked in. The Billy Batson Captain Marvels are pretty crazy, whimsical too. I mean, just outlandish stuff.
Right. So there is a cover in Indie Comics. I can't remember who the artist was, but it's someone that I should remember off the top of my head, but I can't. But it's in the CG group, I think is where it came from. But they put a cloud behind a moon. Like there's a moon in the background and a cloud goes behind the moon.
Yeah. That was
Kanan. No, it wasn't
that was
Kanan. He
Kanan
was
White.
giving a hard
Kanan
time.
White did
Kanan White.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It might have been
White.
Kanan. Yeah, it might have been Kanan White that did the cover. But I mean, it's a gorgeous cover, but the cloud goes behind the moon.
Yeah.
And I understand you do that because it just feels right. But yeah, so you get those moments.
or the thumb orientation. I don't know how many times I've seen this where somebody's doing like a magic fireball or something, and they've got both their thumbs forward.
They got two left hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's called a monkey paw, man.
Yeah. Well, that's still better than Bancroft's root hand that he did.
Oh yeah,
he's still getting crap over that.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, Bancroft is one of the best artists right now out there doing these massive, expansive pages where it's got depth and scale, where things feel small and large at the same time.
It's awesome. It's legendary.
Yeah.
But you know why that is, right? Because as he draws, he only hears ginger root.
Ginger root.
You know,
Do not ginger root.
yeah, that's the thing.
Do not do another ginger root. Yeah.
There's like critic. You'll get critics that will stay in your head for the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No matter how good you are, like
Whitfield and his feet. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I have one. I have one that's actually here on the panel. Whenever I draw, I hear Eric in my head. There's a tangent. There's a tangent.
Nice.
And I am like, I'm like, I zone in on all the tangents now. I'm like, I do not want Eric telling me about my tangents. And so.
Well, okay, as horrible as that is, doesn't that make you a better artist, though?
Exactly. Yeah, that's my point.
Oh yeah, I welcome it.
It's one of those.
Actually, I got a question here about because you brought it up earlier. 3D art, because I'm a 3D artist. Is it like a crime to add 3D art to comics?
Nope.
No, not at all.
I mean, the only problem. Okay, the only problem because I dwell on both worlds, 3D and 2D. The only problem I see with 3D art is when people like use like a model and then they trace over it.
Yeah,
your pose is gonna look dead and not dynamic.
I will set up 3D models for my backgrounds to put my characters in, and then I'll lock to the perspective so that I can draw the figures properly into the background, which is all digital tools that makes it you can speed up and do a lot faster.
Like if you have like a very intricate model, like a spaceship or whatever, you can like 3D model it and place it in the position just to see it. It could help you with the lighting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that 3D like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll do it a lot with like a 3D model where I'll throw like the lighting on the character so that I know how best to shade it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all reference. I mean, I've also got somewhere around about 5,000 different reference photos in my on my hard drive of lighting and poses and of all kinds of stuff. I've got a whole folder of people jumping.
Da Vinci, and he had a machine that used mirrors and trigger the light so that he could project, superimpose an image of his models that he would trace.
Yeah.
And Drew Struzan, the famous poster artist.
Isn't that like an opaque? It was called.
So it's used for. Yeah.
It's like an opaque projector. It's really
Camera
cool.
Lucida, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, that's it. Eric got it. Camera Lucida. And you know who else used that tool? Norman Rockwell, known for his great paintings. He would set up his models, do a quick outline of their pose. That way he didn't have to keep them long, and then he can go about his business painting the rest of the picture. And it's all a tool. Structure of anatomy already. Like he knows that stuff. So they're all tools, and it's a matter on how you use those tools. Whiskey.
Your tools can become a crutch and you don't develop, or you can use your tools to develop.
Exactly.
There you go. I was actually having a conversation on a while ago with Russ Leach and Randy and some other and Glenn Fleming about 3D models, and Russ was talking about just use 3D models. I'm like, well, no, I want to get, and I just in counterpoint, I was saying, no, I wanted to get a better understanding of like anatomy and do the work to get, or sorry, not anatomy, but like 2D and get a better grasp of doing 2D. Like sure, it's going to take longer, but I want to put the work in, so I have both the skill sets of 3D and 2D working in like harmony, right?
And that's the thing. Like when you see a picture, if you have the knowledge, you can interpret it properly. Because you can see a lot of people like, hey, that looks traced, and that's because they're making the mistakes of not knowing where things come from and where they're going, like with a dynamic pose, and you see it like what muscles are doing. Like if you know where the deltoid is, like if the hand is outstretched to you, the deltoid is going to be behind the bicep and the tricep. So how the lines are going to be. So when you see a picture, you can interpret those lines. If you don't have the knowledge, you just like, oh, this line goes here, but you don't know what's happening. So that's the thing on.
You can definitely tell on my panel work on a page when I have time to work on one and when I'm in a rush. You could definitely tell because the more quick production stuff, it's like, well, that's an arm, yeah. But the stuff that I'm doing for a cover is like, oh, well, that's a rippling muscle in an arm.
Exactly.
There's a difference, when you take that time. But when you're trying to, so you'll see different varying degrees to that. It's all part of it.
If you study Frazetta's paintings, you can see he takes time on the naughty bits, on the faces, everything else he just half-asses.
Yep. Speaking of which, I had a really sarcastic, spicy tweet yesterday. A little bit, not near the shit posting capabilities of Mad Ruth, but I did about Frank Miller's.
I have time to perfect those.
You do, yeah.
You do like Twitter draft? You have all the time.
I just have to take a shot in the dark with it. And one of them won yesterday. One of them did a really good job. Of course I know Frank Miller is a talented artist, but I made this like, what does he think he's an artist? He's the William Hung of comics, talking about the reception that he's getting for these new art things that he's doing, which have none of the hallmarks of what a Frank Miller piece would have. Solid anatomy, mass, bold line work, contrast, none of that in these new pieces that he's doing.
Yeah, he's deconstructing himself basically.
Yeah, it's a de-evolution of his style, and it's honestly
age
it's like
too. Like
dude, he's only 66. That's not that old.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
66 ain't old.
I'm just
man.
throwing that out there.
66
That's
ain't
the impression
old.
I was getting though. Yeah.
I because I can't even draw half as good as the dude.
I would love to hear him speak about this because at first I thought maybe it is like an early onset dementia type thing and he's losing some skill, but I really do think he's following all the old masters that we learned because they all had those classical trained skills, but then they just decided to deconstruct their own work, and that's how we ended up with Impressionism and all various things. So he's just practicing that and seeing how much he can deconstruct. That's what I think is really going on.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like he's having a bit of fun with
lines,
it.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, he's not doing the same thing. His anatomy structure is not there at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not there at all. He's not even using even where something should be a straight line. It's not straight.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like he's having a bit of fun. At first, I thought that we were being trolled. I'm like, he's just seeing what he can get by with and still make money. But I do know that he's working on
he's a genius.
Yeah,
here's a genius. You really think this is genius?
I know he's working on the new Watchmen, and I'm hoping that when that comes out, he's blowing our minds with the artwork on that. Because I really like the fact that he pushed the boundaries of the genre when he was doing it.
Yeah.
People were like, "This is the only way to do it," and he said, "F that noise. I'm doing it the way I want to," and he pushed the boundaries, and I really appreciated that because I mean you didn't see that in the mainstream. You saw that with companies like Arrow Comics that were pushing the boundaries. Underground and independents were pushing the boundaries, but not mainstream. And he did it in the mainstream. And I really appreciated that. And I respect that. But this new art, I just can't get behind. Because if I put something like that in my portfolio, they would tell me, Luke, that's unpublishable.
Yeah.
But yet they're making covers of this stuff. And it's putting colors on it is not helping it. In fact, it makes it worse. I think.
It's entirely because he did the work before. It's like we all love Pablo Picasso. If you see Picasso's paintings before he started to deconstruct himself, he was a classical trained master. He could do all of the light shading, rendering, to look like.
Art is subjective. Art is subjective to a point, but when it's a blank white canvas and some dude has put a yellow line down the middle and now it's worth $60 million.
Oh yeah, no, that's money laundering and masturbation.
And
that's what that is.
And so when somebody draws something that could be passable as a third grader, could draw something comparable, it's not genius either. You have to be honest.
Yeah.
Regardless of who it is that draws it.
Let's not ignore the obvious.
Well, do you think
Sorry
it's
about
like the banana that was duct taped to the wall that they were calling art, and somebody walked by
Right.
and ate it
Right.
because they didn't
Ate the banana.
You know, it's
Well, that was art too. Just say that's art too.
Yeah.
I consume the art.
Yeah.
Literally.
My baseline is if a normal person cannot look at the work you've done and read it properly without you explaining it, it's crap.
Yeah.
Yes.
You failed.
So-
You failed as an artist if somebody who doesn't know anything about it can't tell what's going on.
So here's an article, and we're going to end with this before we get into another topic before we close down here in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Bad news. So this article says bad news in Embracer earnings. But let me say this. I don't read it as bad news. I actually kind of read this as good news, okay? Because this is a company that has tabletop comics and film, but also does video games, all right? Listen to this. Management delivered bad news in the earnings reported for Embracer Group's fiscal quarter 4, January through March, and fiscal year ended in March 31st. Despite growth in tabletop games, which we love, guys, and comics, which we love, guys, and film division, which we love. Earnings for the fiscal year ended March 2023 were below expectations for the video game-based company. It's a video game company that's being propped up by games and comics, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's good news.
Yeah. I think we may see a lot more of that if there's a merger with Activision and I want to say Sony. There's a big merger in video games that's being fought as a monopoly in Europe, but it's not. The American business authorities have no problem with it. But yeah, I think people are getting kind of tired of screen time as entertainment, and I'm shocked to pull a Stan Lee quote, but comics are kind of like boobs, I believe was the quote.
Yep. Yep.
They're great to look at, but I'd rather hold them in my hand.
Exactly.
There is something to be said about physicality, particularly with
boobs.
Well, boobs,
Yeah.
yes, but like things like miniatures and versus video games. And
ownership.
Comics, versus digital comics. There's
It's
having
sitting
to be
around a
able to hold
table
it
with
is
some
great.
friends, man.
Yeah.
People
Yeah,
just
dude.
long for connection. We're not in. God didn't create us to be islands amongst ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great to have some alone time, but there's nothing like getting together with a group of people and even just sitting and talking.
Yeah.
Just
And the
just
other
to be
thing is
around
like,
others.
yeah, digital ownership has lost its luster because right now, I bought a movie as long as the server is up. Because how many times people have bought Star Wars, for example, and they're like, no, it's not available anymore. Dude, I paid for it. So that digital ownership thing, I think it's coming to an end. I don't mean like an end, but it's not going to be as attractive
It's not as attractive as it used to be.
Well, they've switched it from even digital owner. Well, Clip Studio Paint.
Mm-hmm.
Luke got me on this program. I love the program. It's much better than Photoshop in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
The old version was a one and done purchase,
and
it's a great program. The next one is a subscription. The update is a subscription style.
In fact, I just literally got a notification this morning that I have to update my payment because it changes at the end of the month. Like I have to resubscribe.
And
it's annoying.
The idea,
it's annoying.
I don't like renting programs. And see, they want you to say subscription service because they don't want you to think of renting. It's just like how the model is. They don't want people to own their own homes. They want people to rent places because you're constantly that keeps you more in the game. You're forever in the grind. You can't step
that's the great reset.
You're not tying up wealth.
And be happy.
And be happy about it. And I say, screw that noise. I ain't doing that.
The 80% people who have 80% of the wealth, the 2% have 80% of wealth, they're so greedy they want the other 20% too.
They really do.
Yep.
The thing is, like, they don't want to be rich. They want to be rich while you're poor. They want to see you poor too. Because then why have money in the first place?
It's economic feudalism. I've been saying that.
Speaking of economic feudalism, investors punished the stock, pushing the price down 45% in trading on the NASDAQ Stockholm Thursday. Tabletop game sales by Embracer's Asmodee division were up 6% for the January through March fiscal quarter 4 period on pro forma basis. Asmodee was acquired by Embracer in March 2022, reversing a negative trend in the October through December quarter, which they were down 5%. Asmodee sales were following market trends in the US, where the game market was up 9%. So games went up, just like we've been talking about. They're seeing that. Fiscal quarter 4, sales of Embracer's Entertainment and Services division, which includes Dark Horse, were up 8%. So up 6%, up 8%. And then the group was up 79% due to acquisitions, but down 4% on an organic basis. So one of the things that they did is that was where we saw that guy that just went to Kickstarter was over at Comixology, and Comixology had a originals, thing, and all of those originals, Dark Horse has acquired all the good ones. So they acquired some work. Dark Horse is making good moves. We see that Comixology wasn't. They lose this guy. He goes to Kickstarter. You see how all the dominoes start to fall this week, right?
Okay.
All the dominoes tend to fall.
Yeah,
and guess what that means? Well, I think our numbers are going to be up this year. They're already up. Let me talk analytics for just a moment. I don't normally show this stuff off, but I want to show it off because here in the last 30 minutes, we've had 16 people visit. You saw that drop down a little bit. This is the last 7 days. We've had 2.4 thousand unique users come in. 2.2 new users. 200 of those were new ones. In the course of the life of this website, we've had 8.4 thousand users come on the website in the last 3 months since it started in its infancy. You can see where our traffic went. We had a couple bumps that went down, had another bump, went down pretty bad there, but we're back up. Look at where we're at now on a daily basis. Things are really moving here. I'm not going to show you our financials, but rest assured our financials are doing quite well right now as well. And that is very good because every month we're doing something that a lot of people that we're not really talking about too much. We're taking 20% of the website tips and we're blessing a person or an organization that's in need. So if there's an organization out there that's doing something good, or if there's somebody that's in the community that's fallen on hard times, has something going on, we're taking 20% of all website tips and we're giving that to those people. And then we'll post it afterwards. We're not talking about it before because we don't want to make it one of those things where people are, taking the selfie while they're giving a homeless man a sandwich and they take it back.
Yeah.
We don't want to be that kind of thing. We don't believe generosity should be broadcast, but rest assured that when God blesses us and you bless us, we bless other people. That's part of Todd and I's business model. We believe that we need to pay that kind of stuff forward. So the better we do, the better other people will do in the process as well. But then again, we're also putting all that money right back into the website. And
you want to know what I've been doing secretly there, Luke? Every time a creator has put a book on with a discount code, I've basically taken the discount money and turned that into a tip. So like AR1311, he gave the $2 off. I then just made that the tip.
Speaking of AR13, 101 backers.
70%.
Man.
There you go, man.
101 backers, look at 70% funded.
Yes.
In 5 days, my friend. Congratulations. We all know the campaign looks absolutely tremendous. These covers are sick. I really like your cover, dude. It's nice.
Thank you.
It's very nice. I love it.
I've always had a thing for that where you see the water line and you see the above and the below. So that was immediately what I wanted to do.
You've got a great eye for this stuff, my friend. I'm telling you, we really do. Yeah. So great looking campaign. Man, you're doing great over there. Congratulations. You deserve it. You deserve that. Everyone seems to be doing really good right now. Everybody seems to be doing really good. Ma'am, I am funded basically overnight. They're 108% funded now.
Yeah.
We still need to get some love over here on the Fool. Dude, you're so close. You've moved up.
$50 short of the goal. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. You have 6 days left to go. $54.
How's that villain
guys.
coming,
6
Randy?
days left to go. I haven't worked on them yet. I've got a bucket list that I've been behind on. So, but we will do a comic skater here eventually.
Yes. But I think when we do an arrow box, I think that'll pick everyone up. Like with this, you got
I
Arrow
think so
Bundle
too,
1
yeah.
and 2. I don't know why everyone doesn't take advantage of those bundles. I think it's just they don't know. Like you get so many comics for such a good price.
It takes a while for word of mouth to get around, but we're
Well,
getting
we
to a
got
point
Battle Brick
also
Road
where
here.
everybody's got an individual campaign. So some folks might be hesitant on getting that bundle because they've got 1 or 2 books already in that bundle. So
Yeah, we might need to start. I think it's about time for an
working on their own
Arrow
project,
campaign where people can a la carte the books they need.
Yes.
Yep.
I think we need
then
to
add
do something like
1
that
or 2
soon.
more just for
Yep.
fun. Yeah.
Yep.
I got books
I think
coming.
we should try to reprint Spanx.
I'm working on monkeys. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I said
Really want to do
1 and
Spanx
2 in a
Monkey on
hardcover.
reality one of these days. It's on the list. What?
Gio, you guys got to check this out. This book looks so cool.
Yeah.
It is like it's super cartoony, but it looks fun. Watch this.
Oh.
This wasn't what the next thing we were going to do is, but I just wanted to show it off anyway.
Load up.
Nice.
Man.
Looks
Double
great.
feature. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, stupid internet.
Nice.
I remember these at the drive-thru.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
The
too.
little hamster on your wheel, just hold up a carrot. It'll speed it right
I know.
up.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Dexter's Lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's more akin to the style of Ren and Stimpy in the posing.
Yeah.
More so than Dexter's Lab. But yeah, it looks awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
It looks fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
this
comics
deserves
can
more
be
love than
fun.
what it's getting.
Yeah.
Comics are fun.
Hmm.
And
And
tacos.
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 Awesome.
Absolutely hilarious.
I think
Yeah.
that might be
great.
very close to my spirit animal right there.
Yeah.
I approve
Yeah.
of
Tacos
that.
are Tuesdays, by the way. Wednesdays are hump day. Tuesdays are tacos.
Taco
Taco
Tuesday.
Tacos can be eaten every day.
I'm so
Yes, that's true,
confused.
too.
So bacon
There's never-
Thursdays then. That's
There's
how that
never,
works.
yeah, and
Yes.
Thursdays is bacon. There's never a bad time for tacos, in my opinion.
Yeah, dude. And
Man,
Latin America, we have like Military Police Monday and
I had a great
Torture
street
Tuesdays.
taco
Mundane
on
Mondays.
Tuesday.
yeah, Torture
I had a great-
Tuesdays and
I had a
Kidnapping
great street
Wednesdays.
taco on
Yeah.
I had a great street taco on Tuesday. It was amazing.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, that's what we got going on.
Nice.
Oh, hold on. Oh, we got some new stuff coming up. Okay.
I have a small question
Yeah.
Do it.
on that book. How come the bird didn't dance?
Mm.
Oh, you know what? We should be.
That's
I mean,
a
we're
fair
not really
question.
promoting it today, but we should make the bird dance.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's
For
do it.
my
Let me find
man.
it.
Let's
Good
dance
one.
for Merc
For all
Made
of
and
them.
for
Yeah.
Fun My Comic. And there we are.
All right. So, okay, man, I missed a lot of comments.
Mm.
Yeah, Luke taking shots at Frank Miller. No big deal. I think Miller had good inkers. Maybe that's the case. Maybe he just had really good inkers.
Probably.
He inked
That's,
himself.
that's an astounding question, actually, because
Yeah.
inkers rarely get the credit they
Yeah.
deserve.
Don't get RT Bear started.
I use ChatGPT for my side gig as a fortune cookie writer. It's such a time saver.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, let's
interesting.
talk about buckets and crabs.
Okay.
Because seafood.
He came here for it.
Listen,
I was promised
I'm
after. I
missing
was
some of your
promised
guys.
seafood. Yeah.
Free crab tomorrow,
Yeah.
man. It's just like the
Yeah.
sign.
Kitty feels like the banana eating was the art.
It was a
Yeah.
performance art. I think you're right on that one.
Welcome, Dave Brink is in the house.
Hey, what's up, Dave?
Hey, Dave.
Didn't whine.
We've got Johnny. Welcome, Johnny.
Yeah. Point.
And
Hey,
let me see.
what's up, Johnny?
Microsoft. Yep.
If anybody
Thank
else
you.
coming in.
Thank you, Johnny. It was Microsoft.
Hey, yeah, crabs. Let's talk about crabs for a minute, right? So we might go over the 2-hour mark because we're just at 2 hours now. Do you guys mind going about another 20, 30 minutes?
No.
Are you good with that? Yeah, let's go and let's do. I feel like this is something we need to talk about. So we're talking about dealing with the chaos. Let me bring this back down this way.
Do it.
We were talking about dealing with the chaos of trying to do this thing, working professionally. So we've got. I do this full time. This is my full time gig. It's Randy's full time gig. It's Eric's full time gig. It is.
Well, honestly, I do
Pedro's
commercial
full-time
work
gig.
also on the side. So,
Well, that's what we're talking about. Like that's we do art. We do art. Like we do art and production stuff for a living. That's what we do, and not just our own stuff. We do it for everybody else. Whiskey. This is his gig as well. And Craig's retired. Craig's just the old retired redneck Canadian up there. So that's why he has so much time to
red
perfect his
green
shit
Canadian,
posting.
not redneck. It's a different breed.
Yeah, red green.
red green. Man.
But
I'm either making comics or reading comics. Those are my two options. Yeah.
yeah,
Girls can't
Well,
find
that-
you handsome. At least they can find you handy.
Yeah.
right. But that's why Craig has such. That's why he has so much time to perfect his shit posting compared to what I'm able to do. So, but anyway, welcome Marv V. We got Marv V in the house. Marv's campaign needs a lot of help too, guys. We got to get on that.
Does.
So here is the so we're constantly busy, and we have to try to organize this chaos. And I know there's people out there that want to do this for a living. Maybe they're doing a full-time job and they're just not fulfilled by it, or maybe they're doing a part-time job somewhere else and doing this part-time, and they're not fulfilled in that other half of their life, or they're trying to, or they don't have time for family or things like that. But there's a constant amount of chaos. And I learned this with Fund My Comic coming in because I'm available to people almost all the time, which I've had to start cutting back. It is, yeah. And, Russ does it every day.
Takes all your time.
It can take all of your time up. Yeah. And so the first thing we have to do is manage those things. So Randy, as a guy who's been doing commercial art and comic books for so long, what are some of the ways that you like, how do you draw your lines? Like, how do you, not on paper, but in life, like, how do you organize your chaos?
I make deadlines and then I meet them.
Okay. Do you
You just got to stay busy. That's it.
Ding your own bell, man. Come on.
You ding your own bell.
I do my best to meet them. As sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, but transparency is the key there.
So when work starts piling up, how do you set your deadlines? Like how
I get mad.
What? Okay, but is that let's give us the listener something useful besides getting pissed off.
Well, it's as easy. Well, yeah, it's as easy as shutting the basement door and saying, "I'm coming down here to work," instead of sitting upstairs watching YouTube. But yeah, that's what it is. A lot of times you don't. Job I'm in is commercial work where you have deadlines that you have to hit, or signs you have to cut, shirts you have to print, or whatever. You do it. You put the time in, you get it done, and you get it out. And in the meantime, you have another list of creative things that you're doing for your comics that you're always thinking about, because you can't chase this stuff. You can try to put it in the back of your head, but it's always gnawing at you. And you always come up, I always come up with my best, most creative ideas is when I'm doing the most regular and mundane work. I'm in the middle of a large commercial job. I'm thinking about all the creative things I'm going to do as soon as that job's done so I can get to them. So that's really the motivation, is to get that done, get the bills paid, get the creative stuff rolling.
Yeah. So it's
for me,
time in the
that's
seat.
Yeah. You have to, as horrible as it sounds, or as cliched as it sounds, you have to do the work.
Yep.
If the work falls on your lap that's going to pay your bills, you have to do that work, and then you can get back to your other work. So
yeah,
a big part of it is discipline too, because it's like I treat every day as a work day, like I'm going to somebody else's job. I come in here for, once my wife leaves for work, I come in here until she comes home, and that's my entire work day.
Yeah, carry a bunch of spiral notebooks all around the house for different purposes, and you just make notes and lists and things to do, and you try to stay as coordinated as you possibly can. But that's what keeps you also from being that crab in the bucket. If you're working, you've got no time for trolling.
Right.
Right. Okay.
I mean, that doesn't mean you can't express your opinion. It just means that there are thousands, and I mean this literally, of Facebook arguments I could have had in the last year, or I could have gotten work done. And I've caught myself so many times, especially sitting there writing back to somebody's post, "Oh, you're full of, all of this." And then you look at the post and you go, "This ain't going to make any difference." No. So you just don't send it, remove the post, and get your butt back to work, because work is productive.
Yeah. So,
hating ain't creating. That's what I like to say.
So there's obviously a reason why
each of us has the ability to
together
to have positive. Yeah.
Exactly what Craig.
Sorry, I was going to say everyone has the ability to get to do things that are positive energy. You can either do positive things with your time and move forward, or you can be negative and dwell on the past and dwell on the success of others, why you're not achieving and they're achieving. It's your individual option you want to do with your time. You can either do rewarding things that put forward and move the ball forward and move the momentum forward, bring it where you want to be, or you can continue to double backward and go backward and the choice is a person.
There's a great closing speech by Bill Hicks on one of his performances. He's a stand-up comedian that was amazing and way ahead of his time, where he says, you make the choice right now. You make it between fear and love. That's your choice. You can choose to love this industry, or you can choose to troll the fear.
Right.
You just have to, you make that decision every day, every post that you make, every podcast that you do, you make that choice. So that's why I like doing the podcasts that I do early in the morning, where we talk about work and we talk about the stuff that inspires us more than, trolling people.
Right. So we use the analogy of the crab bucket a lot, but that insinuates that we ourselves are a crab at some point. We're at the bottom of that pile.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you get out of the bucket? Like, how do you not be that crab? How do you stop being just a faceless, grumpy little pincher and turn into a bona fide producer of content?
You go from a crab to being a salty artist.
Right. Yeah.
That 3 words, do not engage.
Thank you. Do not engage. Bunny says that you can work and troll. I don't think you can. This is coming from a writer. Okay. This is the problem with you writers. I'm gonna Craig, listen up.
Careful. This is the problem with you people.
You have too much time on your hands.
Yep.
Write more, troll less.
There's a big difference between writing creatively and writing destructively.
Right.
Very much. And it's just what Kitty says. Building is a lot harder than burning down. It's so easy to find those hot takes and the things that you don't like. There are all day long. Yeah, leave the trolling out. There are things all day long that I could comment on. Yesterday I woke up, I chose violence, and I made that comment. It did require some additional time for me to respond to those people. It was nice because it was some conversation with people I never had before. And it did get people talking, so that was fine. But there's other times when you're just engaging in this stuff. Right now, there are people that are going over the Fund My Comic terms of service with a fine-tooth comb like it's the freaking Bible, okay?
Trolling.
Yeah, they're trolling. And I mean, that's fine. But how do you have the people that troll, these hardcore crabs, they have no time to produce anything because all they're doing is researching everyone's timelines. Someone went back into my videos years ago. I post so much every day by sharing and retweeting.
Take snippets.
If you're going back if you're finding some of this stuff, man, you are spending days and weeks looking for this. How do you have time to produce a single thing?
They don't. They're busy playing in their pail.
The problem is outrage is a dopamine hit for people who live on the internet. That's all it is. You know, they'll spend this time doing it because
Tyson, what I was saying, you can either use your energy to go forward and produce something, or you can use your energy to continue to scroll backwards. And as we're saying, you can either build things or destroy things. You make a conscious choice what it is you want to do with your time.
Our chat is so funny. They're so funny. Those crabs are just jealous of your gift, grind, and talent. Yes.
Yep.
I think that's what it comes down to. So I think if you keep your head down and you start to work, you're going to sift up to the top, just because of the things that you produce. So this week, Craig, a couple of weeks ago, Craig saw the fruit of his hard work, right? And Hojo is seeing the fruit of his hard work. And when you've done that, when you've held the work in your hand, that is a dopamine hit that is better than the outrage dopamine that you get from the internet. There's nothing like it.
Look at that arrow logo.
Yeah, look at that. It's beautiful.
I'm enjoying Bizarro Week. Y'all,
Absolutely
I
love
just
it.
want to say that. I am enjoying that this is the most Bizarro Week I've ever seen on this program, because I come in, the one time I come in spicy is the day.
Everybody's happy?
I mean, really look at this. It's hilarious, because one day I'm like, no, I'm gonna lose my cool, because it has to happen. Everybody is the one day everybody's doubling down on positivity. I'm like, God darn it.
That's kind of been the format of the show recently.
Yeah.
I made some changes. I was allowing
I
circumstances
am
to affect my
honestly
positivity.
shocked at the difference. It really, since the last time I was around. I'm not being facetious even.
Yeah.
Because it's like
we're
right.
doing
I keep
things
my
differently.
opinions to myself. If some idiot on the internet makes a stupid comment, I ignore it. Because as a business, no matter how reasonable my thoughts are, I'll upset someone and lose a customer. That's exactly the way everybody needs to look at this.
Somebody in the mud's trying the mud. Do you want to
That's the
roll
way it was
around in the
before
mud?
all these
It's worth
social
time?
platforms. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Craig, say that again.
With a clear mic.
I said some people are in the mud. They want to drag you into the mud. Do you really? Is it worth your time to roll around in the mud with them?
It's not.
Depends if it's
not.
hot.
Thing is, if you're in the mud, you're getting dirty too. All people see, they don't see your professionalism. They don't see your hard work. They
It
just see
depends on the
those
role.
things.
It depends on the mod and who you're rolling in the mod with.
Nice.
Yeah, it's right. If she's got nice tatas and a M134 chain gun, I'm in there.
Yes, sir. I'm in there. And then
I'm too busy. Yep.
Come on. Wait a second. Who was saying about the Cheerios last post here?
Agent Zero.
Agent Zero. Everybody's entitled to a bad day, even me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Nick. Like, dude, I'm not holding it.
And I do want to apologize. I came on hot and spicy because, all right, I've had a whole lot of people kind of coming at me for a while, and it's been of the I can't answer back. And I took it out on you guys, and I should have known.
I get it.
And there's this crazy stuff that a man
love you.
does when he screws up a bit. He apologizes, and I believe in flying my scars, because I've been
It's
talking
no big deal.
positivity.
And it made for good TV.
Oh, it makes. Well, I know.
Nick.
You know.
Nick, you have nothing to apologize for. I consider you a friend.
I'm
and if you
listening-
needed to vent, like
I'm
you
laughing at
vented.
Timothy.
Yeah. What's that?
I'm laughing at Timothy Mello's comment there. Sorry, I wasn't laughing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
We don't. Yeah, we
Yeah,
don't. But the truth is, we comment on the news, right? And that's kind of a big portion of the show these days. Is we just go strictly to the one news site that all of the retailers in the industry look at, and we talk about that, and we show how the dominoes affect things, because they won't talk about our industry, and we inject how our industry is affected by that and what we're doing to do things differently. And we're seeing that there is money that's being made out there, but we're also noticing that there's a lot of people that want to pick fights with you. Like I was flying under everybody's radar. Nobody knew who I was. last night I'm on
Malin.
Malin. Thank you. I was on Malin's show.
You're welcome.
And somebody, I get this because COVID. I'll forget a name or a
fog.
Thing. I know what it is.
Yep.
It's the fog.
Old age too.
The fog's still there. 43 ain't that old. Just like 66 ain't that old.
Well, for some people.
Old enough.
Well, for some people, right?
Well, you did a hard reboot too, Luke. You know what I mean?
It's the hard reboot,
like,
yeah.
Like I could see. It sounds crazy, but I can see the difference in the color of your. Unless you've been like dyeing your beard and hair, which I don't think you have.
No.
It literally had faded out, like not like it, like you went temporarily gray because of everything you went through.
Oh, but that's stress. Yeah.
I'm just 29. I'm just premature gray.
Yeah.
How long did you work in retail? Yeah, at 29 and looking like that, you must have worked in retail.
Yeah, we used to share this picture of a clearly very old man and said, like, what are you talking about? Youth ministry is not stressful. I'm 29 and feel great.
Oh yeah.
But so I'm on this show last night, and we're talking about Fun My Comic, answering questions, the boring stuff, the stuff that is. I get really tired talking about because I just love making comic books. From the beginning, I just want to make comic books, be left the hell alone. But I love, so we're talking about this stuff, and this guy comes in and he's super chatting. So he's paying money for his comments to be seen. Mm-hmm. And all he can talk about is the terms of service and how similar they are to Indiegogo, which, hey, newsflash, lawyer speak, we talked about that earlier today. That's boilerplate stuff. Yeah, you're going to find some very similar things, yeah. And, and early on, you probably got some early drafts of that terms of service as we were opening it up to the public, which is why you put in the terms of service. We can do whatever we want, basically, and you can't say anything about it. And we can change this whenever we want, and you can't say or do anything about it. It's you're agreeing to that to use the site, basically, which is why Kickstarter can do what they're doing, which benefits us. Indiegogo can do what they're doing, which benefits us. And so, but the hardcore trolling and crab activity, this guy spent hard-earned money to try to gotcha, and it didn't work. Malin, because there's an etiquette. If somebody super chats you show it, you read it, right? Just like here, I'm missing a lot of comments, but if you were to super chat me, then it's going on. It's going on the screen. We're talking about it.
Unless it's
obscene
or
does it do want creative writing in the terms of service? I think they do. I think they wanted me to tell a story. Thanks, Kitty. Kitty's great. I really appreciate her. And yeah, that guy was obsessed with trying to make people question FMC. There's always that one guy. Exactly. But the point is, like, he was spending hard-earned money to be a crab in the bucket, trying to pull Malin down into his little realm, trying to cause a fight, trying to suppress what Fun My Comic is doing. There's another guy that's out there that's trying to do the same thing, trying to, Fun My Comic is anti-RIPA. No, we are not. In fact, all of you here on the panel know we were actually inspired by what Eric July did on his own, and we wanted to offer those resources to people that don't have that kind of money or that kind of reach, right? And so the amount of effort it takes to be a crab is one thing, but there is this, what I'm learning, there is this innate thing that makes me want to engage the people that are grabbing at my heels.
Yeah. Seriously, how can you be anti-RIPA? He just hired Chuck Dixon.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Come on.
Bingo. RIPA has a good idea. I don't think he's a very strong writer. Okay. That's just from a customer standpoint. But hiring Chuck Dixon was a baller move, and his company's going to grow. If you're bringing people on like Chuck Dixon, your company's going to be successful. Plain and simple. But so how do you don't engage? That's the question. When they're coming at
what I did today.
You ignore it.
Because the thing was, Yeah, I wanted to answer the
Randy's got it.
questions honestly, and I told John last night. I said I don't know who this guy is. I have no idea who he is, and I really don't know what he's talking about. Delaware. I'm like, I don't know. I guess IGG's in Delaware. We're in Indiana. You know, like that's the first thing
Delaware is the house of all LLCs because it's taxes. So don't be surprised if you find every company's from Delaware, every LLC.
Yeah, well, we have Indiana's pretty good, so we moved our LLC to from Florida to Indiana, and so but yeah, so I've had a few LLCs, guys. No surprise there, but I've got a few right now, and but yeah, so there's this thing where you kind of want to engage. How do you guys refrain from doing that?
Okay,
Any
can
advice?
I get my 2 cents here? Okay,
Bang, go for it, man. Boom.
Okay, it's really the thing with trolling is that trolling is like a fire. It's warm, and people feel they achieved something, right? So when people are trolling you, I mean, it has to do a little bit with empathy, but also you're pulling the cart down the hill so they can go away, because they're not really attacking you. It's a mirror on their lack of success. And it's like, why is he getting there if I'm not?
Yep.
What is
So
he
are you
doing?
saying? Are you saying that their production is the trolling? Like our production is having actual books?
No,
put in customers' hands?
In their reality, our production is trolling them. You know what I mean? So there's an element of feeling slighted. Why
our success trolls them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's the thing. Like whenever I hear somebody come at me like that, I said, "Dude, what?
I have to pay to get read. This is a grift."
Yeah.
Yes,
and
that's
the thing. That's the thing.
There's a reason why envy is a sin, right?
Yeah,
it's not. It's not really a grift if you know all of the if you know it up front. So
yeah. So my point is, I don't take it personal because I understand they're not talking to me. They're talking to themselves.
Bunny spelled gift wrong.
Yeah.
Right. I want to jump in here. I'd like to jump in because I don't want to be the last guy out with this comment to be like I have a negative, because I'm kind of an ass. I try not to be. I have some anger issues. I try not to let them get up there.
Oh, I am
and
too. Same here.
We're all asses at one point or another.
I tend to draw.
Twitter's free therapy for me, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. When there's a moral stance that I'm upset about, I tend to get a little aggressive about it. And when people violate that moral stance, I tend to get, I push the line a little too hard sometimes. And that has, that's lost me customers, friends, people I care about, so on and so forth. Yep. So it sucks. But I try to get better, every day. But I just didn't want to end to be the last guy to say I'm negative. So somebody else had something positive.
Well, just remember the social platforms are not real life.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
That's
Bingo.
the big thing.
Ring your bell.
I wish I had the willpower to just flick off the switch and not be not respond to these these people, but it sometimes it feels like you gotta respond, but maybe you really don't.
Yeah, you don't. You really don't.
So, another reason why I reject this new moral fascism, I don't know what else to call it, where everyone is supposed to walk a certain line and think a certain way and obey a certain thing and believe what they're being told to believe. It doesn't allow for human beings to make mistakes. We're human.
It's not moral.
We all make mistakes. We all stumble. We all fall. And part of life is forgiveness. Some of my best life lessons are from the biggest mistakes I made and letting it consume me and feeling like I've reached failure and rock bottom and then saying I never want to feel this way again. I never want to fail that way again. That's how human beings evolve and grow. And I don't know how we've gotten to a society where nobody's allowed to be forgiven for any transgression they've ever done. This is insanity. You can't be expected to walk a tightrope your entire life. It's nonsense.
Well, they're going out of their way to try to get people to not think.
That's my thoughts.
Not be an individual. Because you have to be part of that collective. That's all part of the fascism in the first place. But
Russ believes there's a difference between I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean
No, you're right. There is a big difference between stating an opinion on a live stream and having a full-blown argument or spending hours tapping in text response on Twitter or Facebook. Absolutely.
Yeah, the latter should be avoided at all costs. Get on with some work.
Right.
Johnny does try to be an ass, and that's probably why he draws them all the time.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. We're letting the Brazilian butt lift joke go right by.
Yeah.
To some people, too many people, social media is their life. Sad F's. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're learning that when it comes to social media, Randy, you said it right. It's not real life. It's not reality.
Yeah.
People present, even here today, we present a version of ourselves that we want people to see. Some people are very transparent with that and allow their, like, this is who I am, right? But still, like, the people don't get to see what it's like in my house when I'm not on screen. They don't get to see what it's like when I'm hanging out with my family or doing something fun. They don't get that.
It's like going to a strip club. That's not real life either. That stripper really does not like you.
Yeah. Or like when you're meeting your favorite comedian.
Took me many years to figure that out, Randy.
I've made T-shirts that say that. Yes.
Yeah, nice.
I think that stripper really likes me. Yeah.
I think that stripper likes me. No, she does not.
I think my first 3 years, my first 3 years in the Army, I blew all my money on lap dances.
I don't think blue is exactly the right word. But anyway.
Most things people want forgiveness for aren't even sins or mistakes to begin with. Having an unpopular opinions or believing in biology is a sin nowadays. Exactly. We do run into a lot of that. I tweeted about being professional, and then someone was very unprofessional in their response. And then Craig had some time on his hands, so he did a little trolling back, which was pretty fun. And we talk back and forth. Now, when we talk about being professional, I'm not on the clock all day long. I'm not. When it comes to my business interactions, I'm professional, right? There was one time where I had to not be. I had to be a little unconventional. I had a guy who took a lot of my money for about 6 pages worth of art and was not delivering. And the only way that I could get a response from this guy was my last resort was I posted about it on Facebook and I tagged him and I said, nobody hire this guy. He's going to grift you and take your money, which was twofold. It called him out, but it let all of my other creator friends know, don't hire this guy. We should have a no-fly list. People should know these people are going to steal from you. Don't go there. I kind of feel like that was almost professional, but I did it in a very public way that I got some heat for. And I told some of these guys that, look, I'm going to do my business my way. You do it your way. Guess what I wound up getting? I didn't get my money back. I did get a couple of pieces of kind of half-hearted art that was finally sent to me. It wasn't what I asked for. But we also knew, and a lot of people found out, just to avoid that guy because he's not going to produce art for you. Very talented. It's a real shame, but he doesn't know how to organize the chaos, and he gets lost in everything else, and he's non-productive.
I actually have a similar story. One of the artists that I hired for the trailer of my video for the tabletop game I'm working on, like he just ghosted me entirely. Right, like that's why it's completely unfinished. I'm still struggling to get the funds together to get it, the whole thing finished and made. So I'm just sitting there with like a half-finished video, and I'm just like, great, I'm out of project funds now. And he's just AWOL, right?
Yeah, like what do you do? What do you do with that, right? And then today's sermon is brought to you by strip clubs and funmycomic.com.
It's disheartening, to be honest, when you're like on the receiving end of being like ghosted by an artist or whatever for whatever reason, right? Like it doesn't matter what it is. You're just it's just like great.
Yeah. I think at some point you have to be like, okay, this is what happened, and then move on. You have to, because you can easily follow that path into becoming a crab again. I think it's easier to slide down into the crab bucket than it is to crawl your way out. That's why we call it what it is. It's so easy to get pushed to the bottom. The problem, chargebacks. The problem with some chargebacks is that this person could only use Western Union, and you can't charge back Western Union.
Yeah.
So
That's an
so now,
choice.
well, they were in Nigeria. So I'm not racist.
Oh,
not racist. But I will not hire.
Sorry.
But I will not hire a Nigerian artist again because they cannot take the other funding types. If you can't take payment through something that I am more familiar with, then no. Unless one of my other people that I'm connected with that I respect have used you and you have proven to be a trustworthy person, then I will hire you. But not just based off of a portfolio and nothing. If I can't charge it back, then no, we're not gonna buy that.
So what if the artist is a prince and he has millions of dollars in the US?
Oh
yeah, that he needs.
Nigerian if it's a prince, I mean, I might reconsider.
Yeah.
But it's easy. It's easy to fall back into the bucket. I think the point is, I think organizing the chaos and staying out of the bucket, escaping the bucket, is the same answer. Stay focused, stay on target, and stay busy. Keep organized. Do things, work, produce. I think if we produce, those of you out there listening, if you're producing something, it doesn't matter at what level of success you achieve, there will be someone below you trying to pull you back down into the bucket. It's always the way it is. We try to do around here with this show, with Randy's shows, with Fund My Comic, with some of the other things that we do. We try to help crabs out of the bucket, the ones that are trying to produce. We try to give them a step up, try to help them get up to a new level. But it doesn't matter what level you encounter, you're going to encounter some trolls. I am not at Malin level. I am not at EVS level. I'm not at Eric July level. I'm not at those places, and they deal with trolls all day long. They deal with it. Some of them have made it part of their branding that's how they deal with these things. I personally don't want to do that. I don't have time to do that. Too many people are depending on me to produce art and produce it relatively quickly. So I have to stay on board with all of those things and work hard. But even where I'm at right now, I'm dealing with trolls and people that I've never met. I think that's the thing. A lot of the trolls, a lot of the crabs are going to be people that you've never met because they were below where you're at in stage. They're not in your circles because if they were, they would probably be producing something.
Yep.
Well, Luke, with all due respect, you created a huge flashpoint with Fund My Comics, so.
I kind of did, yeah.
And you knew it was coming. So
yeah, dude. The thing is, like, the moment Fund My Comic blows up the way I know it's gonna blow up, then you're gonna get a lot of haters and a lot of people commenting on your beard and your hairline and who knows what.
Right? Yeah.
Just know that they're not really talking to you. They're talking to the lack of achievements, and that's it's psychological. They need to get that checked out, and we just need to keep on working because that's all I can do. I mean, if I could deliver like a digital like suplex to somebody, then maybe I'll be investing in that. But like somebody talking to me online, telling me whatever, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I guess that's how you feel. Let it go.
I made a
save that comment and copy and paste it. I guess that's how you feel, and then just okay.
I made a point last night. Oh man, I just lost it in the fog.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Malin's show.
Yeah, I said something on Malin's show that I can't remember what it was. I had a very good point that worked exactly
in the chat. There, Agent Zero says you're forcing people like Malin to sit up and take notice. And I think it's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's fun. I don't know if I'm being a force to be reckoned with, but it's when you create something, and I think we all need to understand that when, creating anything puts a target on your back. It really does.
Yeah.
And I remember what it was. I said, there's a lot of people that come in with advice for the website. And I said, well, the people the things that get priority are the things that people that are on the website are asking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like if you're investing and you're putting your future in, into this site, then those things, what you want comes first. That's kind of how that works. But this is, I think, true in life. Oh, too many of us will let strangers on the internet speak into our life and affect our mood and affect where we are in life. I kind of did that. So I was in ministry for a while. And the point of ministry is loving the individuals. And I think the collective turned me off from that. And I lost the trees in the forest. People say you lose the forest and the trees. I reversed that. And I'm kind of recovering in that sense now, thinking more about the individuals. And you have to understand that your biggest detractors have probably never invested in you at all. I had a conversation with Craig about this week. I said, don't let the people influence you that have not actually physically helped you. The people that have not poured into you, don't let them affect the way you think, because they will pull you down into their nothing. You can't be pulled down into nothing. You have to get above that stuff. And it may come even from friends, people that you love and that you like, but not every friend that you have is investing in you. Not every friend is buying your books. Not every friend is propping you up when you are feeling down. You have to find those people, and that becomes your circle. And those people are allowed to speak into your life. Let those people influence you, because there's a lot of people that want to speak into your life that really have no business doing it. They haven't earned the right to do that. That was one of the biggest things that I learned in ministry. I had a pastor tell me, said, you've got to keep your circle small and tight. Your inner circle. Those people that speak in your life, they have had to invest in you. If they paid for your education and they have a criticism, listen to them. If they've prayed with you in the wee hours of the night when you're struggling on something and they tell you that you're off step, you listen to them. If they just happen to go to church and all they've ever done is criticize you, ignore them. Let the people that have actually invested in you speak. And that's what's happening on the internet is we allow the social media stuff to really, really impact our brains and our minds and our emotions. And it's not real. It's not real. People that slide into your DMs to say crap. I'm like, look, show me your receipts. If there's no receipts, it didn't happen. People forgot how to have a face-to-face conversation with people these days. And it's very sad. But in order to get out of that troll mindset, to get out of the crab bucket, I honestly believe that you just have to detach yourself from it. You have to ignore it, like Randy said, like Eric said. I mean, these guys obviously are producing stuff. Eric is doing this great thing with selling Superman. What a cool thing. Eric, your name is attached to so many awesome things right now, man. How does that feel?
Looking back, it feels great, but you know what you guys were saying earlier, just about moving forward, kind of gave me the thought is like, you do get to a point where maybe somebody might say, hey, congratulations on your success, and you haven't bothered to look back yet and see how far you've come, because
right.
Kind of the way it goes. It still blows my mind that I'm in this documentary. Got to work with this fine group of individuals, and we're giving back too. We're working on doing things at children's hospitals with a charity that's been doing comic related children's charity work in children's hospitals. And we're also trying to give back to the collectors out there right now we're running a promotion where, well, they call them collector scholarships. So we're looking for people who are really passionate about, these wonderful old books. And right now, up until the 31st, you can sign up on superman.com to win an Avengers 4 graded in 9.0. This is the Golden Record reprint. So this came out 2 years after the original copy. The only difference is there's no price tag. It came with the Golden Record promotions. It's in a 9.0. You can win that, and all you got to do is tell the folks at Fantast and the Selling Superman documentary why this book would mean something to you. That's it.
Oh, so cool. Wow. See, look, that's paying it forward. Yeah, they could sell that and just make a bunch of money off of it, but Really, it's not about the money all the time, right? It's about the money sometime, but man, it's about the joy that comic books and games and movies and animation, it's about what that brings to us. It is so much fun to just lose yourself in something. I sat down in the living room the other day. I was taking a break. I needed one. I'd been staring at the screen. My hand was cramping up from all the drawing. And I sit down, and I've got Soltak sitting on the arm of the chair. Yeah, all the artists are like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. And Eric, with your effed up hands, and you do this at the speed that you do, man. I'm telling you, you're an inspiration to me when you do this stuff. Pedro is all day long animating stuff, working.
Yeah.
Animation is freaking hard. I've done a little bit of 3D modeling, Whiskey, so I know enough that I can't freaking do it.
Yep.
I can't. I just have to draw.
Man has got to know his limitations.
Yeah, but man, when I think about
it ain't easy.
Nick writing the RPG and what he went through, just the dedication to get in there. It's tough. But I had to have a moment of just myself. And so I went. It was a nice day. I kicked back in the recliner. I pulled the curtain over so the light was flooding in. And I started doing another reread of that book, because there's a lot of words in there. It's like a true sci-fi. There's a lot of words in there. So I read through it again, and I was like, man, this is just fun. The action. I really like it when that big ape thing comes in, the orangutan guy.
Yeah.
I like it when that dude comes in. And it's fun seeing the contrast of kind of this young guy versus kind of the older, salty version of him. It reminds me a little bit of Solomon when he wrote Proverbs versus Ecclesiastes. You get that older. I'm thinking, it's kind of like hanging out with Randy and Glenn, and kind of how they are. As they're older, you kind of see things through a different lens. And it's interesting, and he did a good job
experience.
On it. Yeah, and I'm like, it's such a fun book, though. It's like, it really is what Star Wars should be. What this new Star Wars stuff should be. You did a good job at that.
Thank you, Luke.
And I really appreciate that.
Very kind.
And I took a read through what's the name of that book? Relentless Tin Soldier, and that's another fun one, man. It's just good fun. I mean, it's not about old farts. It's not about the the preaching politics or anything to you. It's just enjoyment. And the fact that they're giving away enjoyment, Eric, that's so neat. It's like, if this book means something to you, then you get to have it. That's what a cool thing to do. And I think we forget that what we're doing is dreams. I see so many people creating campaigns on Fund My Comic that they're like, this is my childhood dream. Yeah. I've wanted to do this my whole life. Like, okay. I believe it when you don't half-ass it, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, like you described like half of my drive. Because like I'm doing what I love, but I also have this moment in my life that it's always like never stop working. And it goes back to my college years. Like, okay, I'm only studying, I have no job. I'm hungry, I'm in another country, and all I have in my house is a bag of prune candy. And that
good candy.
Like, I need to get a job because I don't want to have the only option to feed me. Something's going to make me shit myself.
Right. Yeah.
So I picture that bag of prune candy every time I says like, I'm tired. Prune candy. Keep on working.
Huh.
So we
gotta need work. You gotta eat.
Yeah, we need that kind of motivation. So we're doing what we love. It's really good that it's not all about money, but a big percentage of it should be about money.
Yeah,
we want to make
it's a business, right?
Yeah, we want to make it sustainable. Yeah.
The only way that you can.
Yeah. Like what I want to say is like the only way an artist works like at peace is when he has food, he has shelter. Like he's not thinking about where my next meal is coming from. So when you are in tranquility, then you produce your best work, and that should be the focus. Because a lot of people say, like, "I know you're an artist. You're supposed to be poor." Screw that. Like, no, we're not supposed to be poor. We're supposed to be able.
Bunny's childhood dream, guys.
Yeah.
Being poor sucks, man.
Yeah,
I've
dude. Jesus,
I've done a stint of homelessness myself. It's not fun.
You know, if you go, because I was at Taco Bell yesterday and I had a flashback. They had real close because
fire sauce does
they
it every
had
time.
my wife grabbed some of the mild salsa packets.
Oh,
and I remember when we were living together, my first year with my wife, married. It wasn't a complete year, but we only made $3,000 together, taxable that whole year.
Ouch.
And where you are, that might be very different, but in America at that time, that was and
$3,000 a year down here is pretty bad too. Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay. But the I saw that and I remembered what I tell people: if you ever want to know what it's like, you just make up some ramen and you pour some Taco Bell. It has to be stolen. You have to go into a Taco Bell with the express step of grabbing condiments on your way to use the bathroom.
Yeah, a condiment run, yeah.
Yeah, you put that over the ramen, and you can smell the poverty, and it just and it takes me back every time.
It's ketchup packets and hot water for me.
Yep, ketchup packets.
For me, it's
make tomato soup,
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah, dude. So we all have that story, guys, and that's
whiskey.
the thing.
Hold on.
I was saying is, for me, it's a burnt out old building. When I was homeless for about half a year, and I just remember just climbing like this burnt out old building and to find a place to sleep one time. And as I was climbing this wall to get over, because I had a barrier to prevent people to get into this building, but I needed somewhere safe to be. I'm climbing the wall, and I got my guitar with me, and my supplies and all that, and the wall starts coming away as I'm climbing it, and I'm trying to hang on for dear life and save my guitar, and which was my income at the time. And that's my story, man. Like that what keeps me working the long hours.
Yeah, exactly.
We were Corey was newborn, so this was 2002. We'd been married for a couple of years, but we lost a $20 bill at Walmart. We didn't know where it went. It was gone. We dropped it and someone picked it up and took it. That $20 bill was all we had left. And man, I remember the panic that we had. How are we going to make it? And Bunny's talking about popcorn. I had popcorn 3 times a day. That's all we could afford. Mm-hmm. I ate popcorn 3 times a day. I lost like 25 pounds. I was like malnourished. And because we were putting all of our money for Corey to feed our baby. So Beth and I were just eating popcorn. And I remember those days. And we're not there. $20 ain't going to make it. $200 ain't going to, we'll freak out a little bit, but it's not going to break us right now, Yeah, and I think about how I'm so grateful that we've been able to come back from that. But yeah, that's motivation to keep you going.
Yep.
I go down, I see a full refrigerator. This last week, my wife was like, we're getting ready to pay for groceries. And I'm like, nope, I got this one. And so I used my other card because I'm like, I got paid. I'm buying the groceries. And so I was able to buy the groceries for the next 3 weeks. And you don't know how that's what feels good when your art is feeding your family. That's motivation. So then your motivation does have to be twofold, guys, if you're going to do this. And that's what keeps me from engaging.
I went from helping my mom roll pennies so we could go to the grocery store to I paid off her last car, late last year. So
yeah, dude,
your art did that, man.
There you go.
Your art did that. You put in the work.
That's what the real dream looks like. Everybody thinks it's the $1 million and all this, fame and all that. No, the real dream is stuff like hang up your mom.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we all joke about the boat and maybe I joke about the boat and the ladies, but the goal should be that
you guys are funny.
Make it sustainable with your
welcome, guys.
Your art.
Yeah, it's still going, Hojo.
Yeah, still going. Yeah,
we're time to wrap this up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. I got a lot of work to do. We went longer today than what we should. Yeah, went longer than what we should. What we planned on.
It's good to see you, Nick. I love you,
brother.
And I'm sorry I came in so hot.
That's all right.
No need to apologize, Nick.
No need to
Nothing
apologize.
for, Matt.
All is
We're all
well.
passionate about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy just to see you back in panel, man.
Yeah.
I'll talk about libraries more if it brings you around. No.
Yeah. Like, library.
Yeah, Craig would go, those effing libraries.
And
Where's the
just like a genie, I don't know, like, whoa.
It's kind of like last week when we were talking about Martha Stewart.
Oh yeah.
we mentioned Martha Stewart in the bathing suit there on that Sports Illustrated, and Pedro pops right in. What was
Thank
that,
you for
guys?
saying Pedro would pop right in. I have no doubt if he had the opportunity, Pedro would pop right in.
Hey-o.
Right into yeah, Luke, I like a challenge, Luke. I'll battle the insurer, I'll fight with the folds, I'm in.
And she's
all
I don't know if they wanted money or they wanted something more sexual.
No, you should have started with the anyway. I started blasting.
Yeah,
Because-
exactly.
Anyway, I started blasting.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
That's how Nick came in today.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just started going. I'm guessing that I guess maybe Bunny doesn't like Martha Stewart in a bathing suit.
Yeah. Hey, to each his own, man. More Martha
like
for
that.
me.
More Martha.
I
for
just
Pedro.
love
She's
watching
rich.
Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg hang out on shows.
It's
They're
very fun.
really
Yeah.
good friends
I'll pass.
now.
I'll just.
And you
Yeah,
play.
she's been to
Fought
prison.
the
She
felon.
knows things.
She's been to prison, yeah. She knows things.
Oh my gosh.
You'll never be
Oh
out
my
of
gosh.
toilet wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, toilet wine. You guys, thanks for watching today. Chat, you make this thing, man. You make this thing pretty awesome. Panel, thank you so much for being here today. My voice has struggled. It's been great to have you guys kind of take over some of the talking. The news this week was fun and interesting. It was relevant to our industry, and it impacts us the way it is. Real quick, let's go see. I think we've gotten some more backers. Let's just show this real quick before we leave.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten more backers over here, and let's just see what we got. I think both campaigns got more backers. So let's try this one out first. So we were what, 17? 25 backers. They're over $1,000. Look at that. Just during the show.
Right.
You know what that means. You know what that means.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna dance.
I like that bird.
I like that bird
That's a
too.
great bird.
That bird together.
Look at that.
All
102
right.
backers. We got a backer.
Damn.
Got a backer during the show. There we
Two
go.
backers. Two backers.
Now what we need to do, we need to get that other 50 some bucks over here for Randy.
54 bucks.
More backers.
You
for-
can do it, folks.
No,
Come
you
on.
know, like-
I want to support
like-
this. I just don't have the shekels. I
Yeah.
really.
It's a
Damn it.
great book. I can't recommend it enough. Well
Right,
worth
it
your
is.
time.
I grabbed it in
Yeah.
an Arrow 2 bundle. I grabbed an Arrow 2 bundle so I could get it.
There
Yeah.
you go.
So yeah, that's what we got. Yeah, so things are moving along, guys. Appreciate you guys out there supporting these books, supporting Fund My Comic. You know, like we said, we gotta stay out of that bucket. Let's get out of that bucket, guys.
Yeah.
And let's make something out there. We say it every week. We say it every week. This is a sentiment that we really truly believe. Build up more than you tear down, just like it was said over there from Facebook user. It is way easier to tear down, burn things down than it is to build.
Yep.
Do the opposite. Make the world a little bit better today for somebody else other than yourself. Leave the wood pile higher than you found it. And you guys know where this is going, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's be careful.
We got to be careful out there.
Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. occasions of the male persuasion for the bullet through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see it 211, half a dozen 459, 280 W's a DTA, and several miscellaneous crimes. Homicide, arson, robbery, rape, everybody gets their share. Crime never sleeps, so stay awake. Let's be careful out there. $15 and $20, that's Brewer and Perez. We got several reports of nefarious sorts hanging down around Central West. And you foot patrols, keep a lookout for that